Assalamualaikum everyone, and now SNEAKO's live stream is now starting from UK, and today's guest is Ali Dawah, SMILE2JANNAH, MOHAMMED HIJAB, and I'm missing, bro. MOHAMMED HIJAB's loves. Okay, love is his love. Oh, I love it, bro. I miss it, bro. Okay. Let's start that stream, okay? Okay, all check.
And they know
Back to it.
Is that might be right?
Is this Socioeconomic?
Lord, what is
What you guys
doing? What?
Pardon?
What are you guys doing today? I saw a picture of you getting mobbed by a group of boys.
Yeah.
Went to Speaker's Corner.
In the speaker's corner, how was it?
Yeah, it's a mess, man.
It's a mess out there, innit?
Yeah. It's cool though. It's new. It's different. I've never ever experienced anything like Speaker's Corner. Ever.
It's a bit. It gets a bit crazy sometimes.
It definitely gets crazy.
Have you seen some of the old YouTube videos and stuff with the fights?
Yeah.
What's good, guys? How you guys doing, man? Assalamu alaikum, everybody. We're back at it again. Oh my God, we're back again. Wait, this restaurant. What's the name of this restaurant?
Walaikum salam.
Hochi Dochi? Shout out to them. Shout out to these owners right now being very gracious and welcoming us. We got the guests are there praying Isha right now, so we're back at it again. We have a great panel right now. It is like fresh and fit Dawah edition. Instead of a panel of horrors, we got a panel of some of the most successful and some of the most effective. Good. But I still struggle with the belief that God. I think he's man's on road. He's a little bit busy today. But today we got Ali Dawah, SMILE2JANNAH, and MOHAMMED HIJAB again, and of course we got the Warner. It's gonna be a good podcast today. So today we just came back from an event. It's effing, bro. Lock in, man. Turn the stream on. It's saying F. I don't know. Pay attention, please. Okay, we're back. I don't know why it's effing, but yeah, just keep the stream open, man, please. Yeah, we got a good panel once again. It's gonna be a good conversation. I want some tea. Took a nap in the car. I don't know what it is. Ramadan Mubarak, everybody. To all the Muslims watching, to all the Christians that are watching. Hope your fasting is going well. SMILE2JANNAH, it's great to finally meet you. What should you want me to call you, Zishan?
You can call me whatever you want, bro.
I like calling people by their internet names.
Yeah, SMILE2JANNAH, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Pleasure is mine, bro. The pleasure is mine. Alhamdulillah.
It's great to finally meet you. We scheduled this before, and it never happened.
Did we?
Yeah, I think you were speaking to my manager before '98, trying to see if you wanted to do a podcast.
No, I don't think he reached out.
I think he asked me if I was able to do it, and I didn't know your videos at the time.
Right.
But I watched your stuff, and before everyone comes in, what do you think is the most effective part of your dawah? How do you think you're able to connect with people? Is it talking about? What's the most effective part about speaking about celebrities like Habib and Salah?
Okay, yeah, so we already know that there's like a disjunct when it comes to the amount of money that we'll be able to put into our dawah and the amount of people that it will be able to reach, as opposed to, say, you know, the amount of marketing that's put into like Habib and stuff like that. These guys obviously got the backing of the UFC, etc. So if they are doing something, yes, Ali, it's live.
It's live.
No one cares, Ali.
What happened?
I have
Thanks, Ali.
Go ahead.
You spoiled the video.
So it will
Sure. He was cooking right now. He's doing good dawah.
Oh my.
SNEAKO versus B Hall.
So yeah.
We got Ali Dawah here, everybody. Yeah.
Ali needs Dawah.
We all need dawah, alhamdulillah. But yeah, because I mean.
No, please don't get involved, yeah?
What an intro.
I love it, bro. MOHAMMED HIJAB. Oh, bro.
Listen to the Ustad speaker.
Yes.
I missed this love.
We need to order something good.
Yeah, we ordered a whole bunch.
There's people there, wallahi. You know.
Did they train you?
They give me this one.
Yes, empty.
We need this one, yes. Thank you, brother.
How was it? How was the event?
It was good. The event, the people, it was very good.
Networking, yeah?
Yeah.
Luxuria. One of the seven deadly sins. Huh?
He was. This is a perfect example of how humble Muslims are. So he had a donation for projectiftar.org/SNEAKO where we're giving money to families, and he had an envelope full of money, and so Warren had to pull me aside because he was too humble to show that on camera. But I think it's good to encourage people to do it. So if you guys have money, $2 gives one meal. I'm not sure how much money was in there, but it seemed like it was a big envelope. So,
it was a fat one.
Once again, shout out to it's a big envelope right there. It looked like a wedding present. And they're hosting it and making sure everybody's in here. That's great to see. That's great to see. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's fine. I mean, alhamdulillah. I think in a nutshell what I was saying was that when it comes to celebrities, naturally the budget for them is very big. It's like the whole breads and circuses. Yeah, they're there to distract from what the emperor is doing. So it makes sense that the teachers are going to be paid less than the celebrity, the sports stars are going to be paid the most, the YouTubers are going to make the most money because they're the ones that are distracting away from what's actually going on behind the curtain. Yeah, so if that's already taking place and celebrities have that investment and Muslims and Islam is naturally, money's being taken and curtailed, mosques are being shut, etc., etc. So it makes sense that if there is a Muslim on a higher platform and they're doing X thing because of the religion, then it makes sense for us to utilize their fame to explain to people why they're doing a specific act. 100% that will be able to kind of appeal to the masses. And that will be able to go to the people, because if there's a celebrity doing something, it's human nature. People gravitate towards who they find familiar with. That's why Pepsi will pay so much to have Messi's picture on the bottle, because they know the effect that has, isn't it? So I guess what I'm trying to say is, yeah, alhamdulillah.
Look at this brother here with the big donation. Thank you so much, bro.
This is from some local brothers for your charity.
Thank you so much, right?
Don't worry about this.
I'm very humble to hear that, man. Thank you so much for contributing.
Brother.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
Is there any like waffles and all this kind of thing?
I've got something coming up.
No, man. Really, you have something serious. What's this place called again for the people to know?
Hot Dog Guildford.
It's a fantastic place, great hospitality. We had to come for the second time.
You know that, but Dynamite Chicken. How do you think I'll get the shahadas? It's on the way, it's coming up. Anybody else?
I'm not awkward, I'm just humble.
I don't know how fair.
It's very blessed to be able to have a platform to be able to do this, man. It's nothing,
Here's the menu.
We're good?
I didn't ask for it.
I hate that they do it too, bro.
What's the champ? The menu is here. If you like anything. So we ordered some strawberry and then chocolate fondue and all that. No, but please look at the menu, man. You might like something else. Don't be shy. It's a lifestyle. Who's it coming? This is what it is. This is what it is. That's why you went over there.
Should I look and see how much it is? Everything's good, yeah, of course, man. We got the Warren in the building again, of course, man. Warren is back. Same restaurant, of course, you have to come back.
Hell yeah.
Am I allowed to be here?
No.
What's Luca?
This Sunnah guy.
I'll put a long cable as well, yeah?
What? Hold on, you gonna be part?
No.
Come on, Walid.
Just 1 second,
You know this guy's deep, you know?
No, I'm not deep.
I'm not going to keep the money for myself. Come on.
Candy shake.
I'll go take me straight to hell if I do that.
You got the candy shake, bro. And brother Mohsen, he's, mashallah, volunteered to come and film.
Yeah,
give
that's
us some
great.
extra.
That's great.
We saw him in the event. And he's a fantastic guy.
I need to lift home.
What would we saying? Fresh and fit, yeah.
Habibi.
Allah, fresh and fit.
Walid.
That is Sunnah guy, bro. I know him. Tell me comment, bro.
So guys, let's leave some questions too that you guys want to see answered. It's going to be a long podcast today again, inshallah. Yesterday was really successful. So I'm glad that we were able to do this again. To bring all these people in the same room, I think is really cool. Especially Mohammed Hijab was telling me afterwards that he's known Aki Yemen for a long time, and you guys have never done a collaboration.
We never done a competition, bro.
Yeah.
We live next to each other. That's how bad it is. It's like a 10-minute drive.
So you were just too used to each other to be able to...
We always see each other, make jokes, stuff like that. Yeah, and privately we even had food together and stuff, but we never actually even sat down. So weird. But it's actually maybe a good sign, because it shows that whenever we see each other, it's not like we're looking to we're always thinking about the social media aspect. There's the other human aspect, like, you know, this guy grew up in the same area as me, and, you know.
Yeah. I got to meet a lot of people today that seem to know you from the neighborhood.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And sometimes when you see somebody online, it's hard to think of somebody as a neighborhood guy.
Yeah.
But in like a day and a half we've been in London, we've got to meet a lot of the people. That was a great dinner today. You were at the dinner for the whole time, right? Yeah, to see all the brotherhood here is it's pretty eye-opening.
It's nice, huh?
It felt like a wedding at the dinner today, didn't it? It felt like Goodfellas seeing somebody get married. Very mafia. Like, this envelope seems like an Italian Jewish wedding. People handing it off like that. It's great to see that sort of brother. I've never been around.
I think SNEAKO, I think what's going to happen is that you're going to like it so much you're going to want to stay here in London.
I didn't know.
Zishan, should I move here?
I think you should.
Are you from London?
I'm from South London.
He's from the.
So if I'm telling you,
he's from the place in London.
that's South.
The worst place.
He's saying that, but he loves to eat. How often?
A couple of weekends.
Every week.
Guys, you don't want to eat? You want some food?
Yeah, they're sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe you've watched
be protected, bro.
specific orders that food or
No, just like some dessert, something for me.
Just look at the menu, see what you like.
I'll have
There's so
dessert.
many different varieties.
I'm sure that they've got something for me that.
who wants food?
What type of food do they have?
Just check the menu. Have a look at the menu. There's burgers, there's like chips, there's a spring sandwich.
So something light. Actually, just desserts and some chips. I don't want to eat a whole burger because we have to focus. Yeah. And some tea, please, if possible.
With a bit of spice?
And some spice.
A bit spicy food. How many people want dessert?
I don't have too much food, mostly tea. I want everybody to be high energy. So
They came for that.
if they eat too much shot, then they're going to be slow and sluggish.
I think the fondue, those that he said.
Yeah. I think they go with that thing.
Ibrahim already knows that.
And by the way, yesterday, chat, we raised $6,000 for Project Iftar. So right now you can go to projectiftar.org/SNEAKO. We raised $6,000, so we fed 3,000 families. That's way more than I thought. When we were calculating it earlier, I was thinking like maybe we got $2,000, $3,000, $6,000. MashaAllah, it's great to hear. So love speech. Shout out to you guys. You're very effective.
10K.
Oh, okay.
Like a raspberry strawberry sundae.
So we can get to 10,000 today. Same stream, I know, but we got a new panel today. And you guys don't complain when Fresh and Fit is with the same whores on the same table every night. So we can have a table here full of different Dawah people. Come on. Bismillah.
So good, bro. The dinner table with believers.
You want to call someone first?
After hours with believers.
Very refresher.
Yeah, it's a Sunday.
Are you gay, bro?
Hey, he ordered it, not me. Hey. You know what I'm saying?
It's look good. I might have some of it too. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, it's good to see that sort of brotherhood here. You know, it's Londonistan. Wait, where are you from exactly?
South London.
No, but what's your nationality?
Oh, Pakistan.
You're from Pakistan. Okay. The last
Shout out to
stronghold of Islam.
Pakistan, brother.
So they say.
Right.
Yeah.
And the brotherhood here. So there's no Muslim brothers in Miami. And Warner has that same issue. He doesn't really like being around the Muslims in LA as much because they're
all soft. They're all soft.
You think the Pakistanis are soft?
In LA, yeah. Like over here,
that,
and for some reason, it's my first time meeting gangster Pakistanis. It's like, you know, and apparently they're more rough around the edges over there. Over there in America,
they really are, bro. Like, unfortunately, involved in some illicit activities. Not all of them, of course, but they have a certain reputation here.
I think the ones back, in America are just very comfortable, you know. And I think, alhamdulillah, their parents make good money like that, so they're just, they're very.
But you got to remember how controversial. But I think I think crime is connected to poverty. Like nowadays, there's two kind of narratives we've heard. In the 90s, when I was growing up, it was more about black people. Why is it black people overrepresented in crime? When I got a bit older, it became about Muslims and blacks as well. I mean, Muslims have always been part of this as well, like Muslims as a religious group and black people as a racial group. But I've always understood it to be, if you look closely about it, poverty is one of the greatest indicators for crime because it makes crime a rational choice. If you really think about it, bro, if someone's not making that much money, they're more likely to engage in crime. Now, if you look at the historical process of what happened in the United Kingdom, for example, after World War II, a lot of people came into the country from the ex-colonies to rebuild the country. So they were blue-collar workers, they were working-class people. And they continued being working-class. So in the United Kingdom, a lot of the Muslim people in the community, they're not middle-class or upper-class, they're working-class, they're poor people. They're taking, for example, benefits from the state, they're on welfare, they're on council, they're homeless, they're claiming this kind of things. In America, you've got the same demographic. In California, because when I went to California, I started realizing this is a bit of a culture shock, because you had Pakistanis, like I went to Sacramento, I spent time in LA and stuff and other places, but mostly in Sacramento. And I realized that the kind of Pakistanis you got there, and South Asians, are rich to say it crudely, right? Rich people, middle class, upper class. And that's because America decided when they were bringing people in to have people who have a certain caliber, educational caliber. We're going to have doctors, we're going to have this, engineers, we're going to have this. England didn't think like that. In fact, England had the opposite strategy. They just needed to get blue-collar workers in. So, yes, it's true. If you compare, for example...
So America kind of handpicked the people that they wanted in the country.
It was a different context, completely. Because think about it. America wasn't actually physically destroyed by the war. Whereas England was. England was attacked physically by Germany in that World War II. America was far away from it. They got involved in the war, World War II, but they didn't they were untouched. Only Pearl Harbor, and that's not really anything, to count, to be honest with you, compared to what happened in Europe. So as a result, you're seeing these kind of things. Like you'll find that most countries in Europe.
Who ordered coffees? There's some drinks here.
Oh, please.
I'll take some. Yes, yeah.
We're gonna get cold in it.
Most countries in Europe. So France has a big intake of Algerians, of Moroccans, mostly Algerians. Belgium, the same thing, and they're all ex-colonies. And first of all, they're working class. The same story, working class. So you'll find poverty, but also you'll find crime amongst such groups. But you also find resentment, because remember, these are ex-people that were colonized. Like in the Algerian case, the people were colonized, so they don't have a really favorable attitude towards the French. So you have a two-way resentment. It's all very interesting, but what I'm trying to say is that when I went to South Africa, for example, the Indians there were very rich. They were very rich, and they were very they had their...
Were they Hindu or Muslim?
Muslim. Yeah, obviously the Hindus are as well, but like the ones I saw that were Muslim were very rich. Muslim, very rich. So it really depends on the context. You'll find every part of, whether it's the Western world or whether it's Africa or South Africa, whatever it is, you'll find minority Muslims operating in a slightly different way because of, I would say, the main factor is social class. That's my view. It's not race, it's not religion, it's actually social class. That's why you'll find white people, if they're in a deprived area in London, they're more likely to commit crimes. I used to work in Essex in this kind of areas. I used to work here, and it was a working class, white people that were committing crimes and all kind of things and illicit things. It's not because of their race. I mean, they would jump and say it's because of your race, or jump and say it's because of your religion. We say it's because it becomes a rational choice for you to do that,
right,
because you don't have money. And so it makes sense to take high risks and high rewards.
Do you believe in race realism at all?
No.
You don't think IQ is ingrained to your race whatsoever?
I don't agree with this at all. I think it's a very unfortunate, belief system. I think it's wrong.
So why do you think Asians score so high on IQ tests?
Because of the culture. It's not just IQ tests. Consider the following, yeah? Why, if it's not just Asians, look at Chinese people. Chinese people and Indian people, they do very well. Pound for pound, they do very, very well, like in university settings. Objectively, like if you look at it statistically, depending on the subject, but Chinese people, they do very well, especially in like economics, mathematics. I know it sounds stereotypical, but they do very well. What is it about Chinese culture needs to be asked? What is it about Indian culture? And I think it's to do with pressure, bro. It's the kind of pressure they put. I recently looked at of this year in the United Kingdom, and the government, the United Kingdom government, put them out for GCSEs, which is like the SATs, right before the A levels. And the third group was Bangladeshis. I was very, very surprised by it. Have you seen that? Yeah. So if race realism was true, then what's going on? Because the thing is, what's in common between a Bengali or Indian and a Chinese, usually those who espouse race realism, they connect to the white gene. But the Chinese is far away from being a white guy, sorry to say. And Indian is far away from being a white, in fact, he's not a white guy at all. So, do you know what I mean?
Really good job.
What the love?
Because Chinese, you got a bit of white. But we were just talking in the car, funny enough, we were talking about in sports though. I do believe in certain races have certain advantages in sport. I know it's a controversial idea. You know, but if in the last 50 years, how many white men have run 100 meter, got a gold medal for that? In the Olympics?
Not many.
None. Not even not many. None. Zero. The answer is zero. Bro, imagine that. Imagine the statistics that says in 100 meter, I think the last 30 or 50 years, no white man has ever won that. So you could say there are certain things that favor, West African genetics, West African or East African. Like for example, the long distance runners. Bro, they're fast, but they're long distance.
So why are physical attributes? Why is that correlate with race? But you're saying that something like IQ is not correlated to race.
The thing is, IQ tests, I'm not convinced by it. As a process of determining who's more clever and who's not more clever, who's more knowledgeable, who's not more knowledgeable, I'm not convinced by the whole.
It's not a good metric of intelligence.
I'm not saying it's not a good measure. It could be a good measure because they have logical aspect, they have a grammatical aspect, they have this and that. But they haven't convinced me in saying that this is the gold standard of explaining human intelligence.
Okay, bringing it to Islam. Indians are taking over in terms of becoming billionaires, and I want to understand what you think about the difference between Indian Muslims and.
100%.
You know about this, huh?
Yeah, well, why are Indians taking over in every if you look at the amount of billionaires in tech industries, it's so many Indians are taking over. A lot of time people like to talk about the Jewish influence and money, but Indians are doing really well. Are they Muslim? Are they Hindu? What's the difference?
So the thing with whether it's Zionists or whether it's Hindus, they have an innate contradiction within their faith, which is that you can be an atheist, but you can still be a Hindu. You can be an atheist, but you can still be a Jew. So the fact that there's such a big flexibility, having such a big flexibility allows you to adapt more than say someone like a Muslim, who has set criteria, who has more boundaries and more kind of demarcations. So Hindus can be put in any surrounding, any kind of thing, and they can adapt. Their religion is very flexible. For example, they believe one God, but they believe in 1,000 gods. They believe that the tree is God, but they believe that the tree is not God. They believe that there is no God, but they believe there's 100 gods. So there's this because we have these conversations.
You're laughing, but it's true.
Yeah, it's because we have conversations, whether it's on live streams, whether it's at Speaker's Corner, whether we see the content, and you will genuinely hear Hindus, you will hear Jewish people. I came across a Jewish atheist, and the guy said, "Yeah, I'm a Jewish atheist." How that works? Then you start playing with semantics. Yeah, we can do this. A Jewish person, they have certain beliefs. However, some of them, they will say, you know what? Belief is they start becoming the religions. It's fine. We do this and we put this forward and we do like this deal of flexibility. You won't see, for example, the CEO of Alphabet or Google.
Is that an Indian?
That's an Indian, yeah.
Is it a Hindu?
It's claims to be an Hindu. But what type of Hindu? Does he pray? Does he do Murti Puja?
A Hindu or a clean Hindu?
Yeah. Did you say that? Murti Puja is idol worship. But they believe idol worship is idol worship. Like they believe that the essence or a part of God actually resides in the idol. This is what they did recently in India as well. There's an inauguration ceremony where you create an idol, but then you have to do a ceremony that a part of God goes in there and it becomes a murti. So for them, bro, you can put a murti in a workplace, you can put a murti at home, you can pray at 3 o'clock in the morning, you can pray 8 o'clock in the evening, you can pray after 1 week. So their stringent nature is not as stringent as, say, Muslims. For them, it's And you don't have to. I mean, there's so much flexibility even when within their own religion, and when there's so much flexibility and everything is unclear. Like there's, who do you worship? I worship the consciousness. What's consciousness? Are you conscious? Yeah. So technically, I'm God as well. Yeah. What about Brahma? Yeah, he's God as well. He's the creator God. You know what I mean? So when you've got so many different views. Oh yeah, you just meditate. You have your own relationship with God. What does that mean? Having your own relationship.
I don't know how are you? You're an expert on Hinduism.
Because I've looked into it recently. I've got like a Hindi channel as well. I translate my videos.
Not only that, for example, when it comes to interest, like the Jewish people,
usury, yeah,
they can charge interest to the Gentiles or the goyim, which is us.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they can't charge interest within themselves.
Each other.
We as Muslims, we don't exploit. It's a form of exploitation. The interest is a form of exploitation.
Yes.
So
we don't say Muslim or non-Muslim.
Exactly. So to us, it's like Muslim or Muslim. You're not allowed to do interest because interest is waging war against Allah and His Messenger. Yeah. So there are certain things we can't do where we cannot go and exploit others. And again, I'm not saying only Jewish people do that. What I'm saying is that
you don't be anti-Semitic.
In their belief system, that's true. They're allowed to charge interest to others and not amongst themselves. So there are certain things that as Muslims we cannot do because to us it's more important to obey God and not to take the rights of others. Because in Islam, taking the rights of others is very severe. That's why the Prophet, peace be upon him, he would refuse to do the burial prayer for an individual who owed money to somebody. So with us, it's so severe. If you think about it, when somebody commits a sin, there's 3 conditions. Number 1, you stop the sin, you hate the sin, and you try not to go back to the sin. Yeah. But there's a 4th condition if you wrong the right of someone. So if I wronged hijab, it's not just enough for me to ask for repentance, but I have to ask for him to forgive me. Yeah. If I owe him a debt, I have to pay that debt. You know, so that's why it's very, very important. Islam takes great importance. Even before you enter paradise, there's a specific place where you will be asked if let's say me and hijab, we fell out. Yeah. You know, that'll be the time where we would, inshallah, reconcile or ask for each other's rights. So that's why I believe it plays a great thing in economics when it comes to maybe why Muslims are not doing as much. And also, yeah, and sadly, yeah, we do have to take accountability. How many Muslims want to be scientists? They don't. They're too immersed, and that's why the Prophet, peace be upon him, he prophesied, because Allah will put the love of the world into your heart and take the fear of your enemies from their hearts. So why? And this was a time when the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, nations will come together how we are eating food against you. And the companion said, oh, Messenger of Allah, is it because we will be small in numbers? He said, rather you'll be great in number. That's right. And that's exactly the time. Why? Because we have turned our back to our religion. Because we are too immersed in the world. Money, this. You're
Talk dances.
Oh, it's changed.
Money, cars, girls, what I drive, what I do, who thinks what of me. But I was a slave to society. My God was the opposite gender, girls, the cars that I drive, the money that I make. That's what Allah says in the Quran. Have you seen the one who has most? I found my freedom when I enslaved myself to Allah. Because I'm already I was asking the philosopher who said man is born free, but
everyone chains.
But chains in chains everywhere, yeah, and that is our asl. Islam has come to free us from the worship to the creation to the Creator. Because all of us, if you like it or not, you're influenced. You're influenced by one thing or another. Nobody comes and says to me, like I speak to like these girls, and let's say for example wearing 8-inch heels in -5 degrees miniskirts, and I'm thinking, are you telling me you willingly wake up and spend 2.5 hours to do makeup, wear heels that hurt your ankle, that you need to walk barefoot and on the pavement, and you're wearing a miniskirt that's freezing cold? You don't. You are influenced. You are subconsciously influenced. Islam has come to free you from the influence of the dunya to the Creator. So there's many elements. That's just I believe my take on.
Can I ask you, because I don't know almost any other reverts from the people that in our circle. Warner has grown up with Islam. Mohammed Hijab grew up with Islam. You definitely grew up with Islam. What was it like to revert? And I'm wondering for the reverts that are watching this stream right now, what was the reception like with your family?
With my family, obviously, I've always told my story about my dad, my mom, like my family members. My background that I come from, they're very hostile towards Islam. They don't like Islam,
What's the religion is your background?
So the thing is, my dad's an atheist. My dad's side and my mom's side, they have Alawis. So they're like a sect of Shias. But if you look into the belief system, I've come across Alawis who say I'm an atheist Alawi, and I'm like, what do you mean you're an atheist Alawi? So there's no belief system there. So to me, like, my dad was very, very harsh. He would say the thing that I hate the most has been born into my family. So he's talking about me. Right. So he's like, the thing that I hate the most has come out of my family.
So it's not good.
No, he hates it. He hates it. Not that my dad is a bad person, but to him, he's like, this is the thing that I despise the most. And now my son has ended up, out of all religions, gone and found this religion. So to him, he really dislikes it. But he's a bit better now. He's a bit better.
How do you think reverts should introduce Islam to their family? Like right now, I wouldn't say I'm jealous, but being it's the month of Ramadan and seeing everybody here, the family aspect and the brotherhood and even Musa saying that he doesn't want to travel too much because like it's how important it is to spend iftar with your family. Obviously, my family, none of them are Muslim besides.
Same. Like I'm in the same boat. So when you talk about jealousy, there's two types of jealousy. There's good jealousy and bad jealousy. So the jealousy you want is something that you want what others have for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as the bad type of jealousy is that you want what an individual has taken away from them. So what you have is there's nothing wrong with it because you're saying I would like the same for myself, and that's normal human nature. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with that. Just so you know, because I know sometimes we use the word jealousy, it comes with a connotation of it's negative. No, in Islam, you ask Allah, oh Allah, I would like that for myself one day, and that's when inshallah when you get married and you have kids, inshallah may Allah give you that. You taste that. And for myself, obviously it's hard because your family don't celebrate. They don't fast. When you come home, you know there's food, etc. So yeah, it's.
So how do reverts? How do we introduce Islam to our family?
You know the biggest,
how do we show them the good parts of it to people that go?
Yeah, Ali, answer the question.
The biggest mistake, the biggest mistake I made in my life was meet this guy Zishan. No, I'm joking. Actually, it was one of the best things to meet these brothers.
Champ, this is for you, Champ. Champ, are you pleased?
You're speaking to the wrong champ.
Okay, what about champs?
That's what my wife should. That's the language she should use.
So,
are you pleased?
So, when it comes to this, Aki,
thank you, bro.
The biggest mistake we make as new Muslims is the following: we're passionate, we're zealous. We you know when you've been in darkness and there's just a bit of sunlight, and you're just like, oh my gosh, what is that? So when we come to Islam, when we are so lost, that's why you see a lot. They hold into Islam like with their dear life because they've seen the ugly side of life. Right. So when you've seen the ugly side of life, bro, when you come and see, like it's like when you're married to an evil woman. And when you come and marry someone that's decent, bro, you're like, you know what, this woman, I have to hold her on my head, bro. So the thing is, what happens is when we come from Islam, we think we're passionate, everything's haram. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, I came for nothing but to perfect good character. Yeah, and this is something we lack greatly. We want people to see Islam in us, not let them hear it from us. Like Zakir Naik, may Allah bless him, yeah? He quotes the Quran, Hadith, but let people see Islam in you. So for me, with my dad, for example, it would be very harsh with me. There was a time where he slapped me. Hijab believed I deserved that. So,
no chill.
Yeah, by the way, viewers, you need to get used to our humor. He's trying to hijab.
It's an insult to my genetics.
Eugenics. So you have to put me down. So
I didn't know you were friends before this.
Who, me and him?
Yes, I just assumed that everybody in the Dawah circle has beef.
Me and him?
I didn't know you guys knew each other.
Us three. We are above friends. Yeah, so
in the UK, most of us, mashallah, has pretty much met with each other. The beef, correct me if I'm wrong, is very little.
It's only with one group.
Yeah. And those guys are very small.
But that's what I hear about.
We need to name them.
Usually it's a group of brothers that have issue with everybody.
Oh my gosh,
Good contact.
Laden came out on the TV, yeah? And then my dad was like, come here. He's like, look, your friend's on TV, yeah? I'm taking serious. I was like, come here. I was like, what happened? I was like, he's going to take a shahada. He goes, come, look, your friend's on TV.
That's actually perfect. I want to ask you about that MOHAMMED HIJAB.
We're talking about Bin Laden.
No, genuinely, there was a big uprising on TikTok. I'm sure you've seen about people learning about Osama bin Laden. And,
the book. Was it the book? What was it?
The letter. And obviously there's some conspiracy theories about what really happened in 9/11. Do you think that did they lie about Osama bin Laden? Is it the truth? Because in America we hated him. John Cena, he got on TV and he celebrated at WWE saying we killed Osama bin Laden. Everybody clapped. And now John Cena's getting naked in front of the Grammys, and everybody kind of seeing the truth about these people.
Oh my gosh, did he really go naked? I thought that was
No, that's real.
It's real, yeah.
Yeah, in the front of the Oscars or whatever, while accepting an award. So it's like, should we really believe this? Because that was the part of the brainwashing for a long time. It was part of the Islamophobia, and I think the demonization of Osama bin Laden fed into a lot of people's heads about Islam.
So if you read bin Laden's fatwa, he had two fatwas. One in '98. A fatwa is a religious ruling or a verdict that's given. He done one in '98, and he done one directly or a few after 9/11. Yeah. If you read what he said in this, he said the main reason, one of the main reasons he gives for being at war with America is the Palestine issue. He says that you're killing our innocents, and we should be, since you're killing our innocents, we can kill your innocents. Simple as that.
An eye for an eye.
He's basically, that's his idea. Now, Islamically speaking, that's incorrect. So, to be clear, no scholar of Islam has
Okay.
For example, Ibn Abd al-Barr, who's a classical scholar of the 15th century, and this is before liberalism, before anything, he said there is consensus on the fact that you can't kill women and children in war. So that is the view that I follow, yeah? Which is, according to Ibn Abd al-Barr, the consensus view. However, isn't it interesting that what Osama bin Laden is doing or saying, or his philosophy, is more moderate than what we're seeing in Israel. It's way more moderate. Because the way he sees it is, you kill one of our innocents, we'll kill one of your innocents. The way Israel sees it is, you kill one of our innocents,
we'll kill 3,000.
Yeah, we'll kill 5,000. So, if you're so upset about Osama bin Laden because he killed 3,000 people
and you should hate 9/11 more.
Bro, in 9/11, how many people died? 3,000, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if 3,000 people is a problem, what is 30,000? Unless you want to tell me American blood is more important than Palestinian blood.
But that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, so if
white blood sounds more.
If you see a picture of Osama bin Laden, you show it to an average American, he'll feel very angry. And I'm not telling him you shouldn't feel that feeling. So if that same American now is gonna be indifferent, yeah, that average American, to what's going on in Palestine, and 30,000, which is times 10, we've got 10 9/11s happening.
Bro, you're using that as a metric of death.
Yeah, what are you talking about, bro? Yeah. We're talking about 10 9/11s, bro. 10 9/11s. And that's just in the recent escapade of the Israelis. And you have genocidal intent, they're justifying all this kind of stuff. But people are now starting to wake up to the fact, not that Osama bin Laden was right all along and this and that, it's not that severe, we're not going that far. But what we're saying is that if you found that this was egregious, then what the hell is this with Israel? What the hell is this? Well, it's 10 times the amount of death.
The mask drop.
And it's 10 times the amount of death, all the justification in the world, and it's not even one for one. Osama bin Laden's reasoning was more moderate than Netanyahu. Because bin Laden was saying, you killed one of our innocents, we're going to kill yours. I'm saying that's wrong.
And that's haram in Islam.
And that's wrong. Yeah. Islamically, it's wrong. Right. But Netanyahu is saying, even though he doesn't want to say it like this, but some of his Herzog says something similar, which is that everyone's responsible. Everyone in Gaza is responsible. Flat the whole thing.
He said, why do you think he quoted the Old Testament?
He said that. Amalekites.
He calls them Amalekites.
Yeah.
Do you know the story of Amalekites?
Bro, so who is more of the two?
Do you know Amalekites?
Be honest about the situation.
No. So he calls Amalekites. Amalekites is basically, I don't know if it's Hebrew chapter 15 verse 2 3 or a different verse here, but it's basically talking about First Samuel chapter 15 verse 2 3. So yeah, exactly. They're literally just think about this, yeah. The far right, Tommy Robinson and his likes, yeah. The intellectual media, the bastard, yeah? They're probably watching this. So the thing is this, they would come and say, ISIS is doing atrocities, quoting the Quran, and we would come and say,
oh.
So they would use this whole card of ISIS. Now the far right, with this whole issue, if you think about it, we've now got clear cut, because when ISIS was doing their madness, you had your late Muslim men, Muslim public, working the 9 to 5, whatever it is, condemning it. You had public speakers like us condemning it. You had the imams condemning it. You had the Muslim world leaders condemning it. But now look at what Israel's doing. What Israel's doing, they are outright propagating it with quoting their old scripture, which is the 1 Samuel chapter 15 verse 2 to 4, which says, go to Amalekites and kill men, women, children, babies, donkeys. You know what the donkey done, yeah? They go and kill everybody.
And keep the young.
And keep them for yourself. So what I'm saying is this. How is it that they are directly quoting from their scripture? And not only are they quoting it, but they are carrying out the atrocities by killing men, women and children. And if you notice very carefully, bro.
That's right.
It's not just the MPs. If you saw my video in Speaker's Corner, I was speaking to this Zionist, just some lady, random lady, yeah? And she clearly said, I do not believe that Palestinian kids are innocent. Outright, bro, can you imagine a Muslim woman in a hijab saying, I don't believe what ISIS is doing, the kids that they're killing, they're not innocent? Bro, I'll be in Guantanamo Bay. Bro, if I was to say such a statement, but they casually are saying we should kill more babies. They are mocking them. And you cannot make this stuff up. That's why I thank Israel. We could have not done it without them, bro. If I had £1 billion budget, I would have never orchestrated getting IDF soldiers to say what they're saying. They're doing it for free on camera. So we just ask Allah, and Allah's humiliating them and showing their reality because the whole public opinion has changed.
So do you think they purposely didn't translate the works of Osama bin Laden so that we would misunderstand and that they could paint him in a bad light? There's also history of them.
To be honest, they don't even publicize his actual fatwas and what he said. They just make narratives about him. The average American has not heard what Osama bin Laden said.
They have no idea.
They don't understand his explanations. His explanation, if an American said it as a white American said the same thing, after the equivalent of whatever it is that the American disaster happened by the hands of who he thinks has happened to, his initial complaint was about Palestine. If you look at what's happening, it's that America is allying with Palestine. So if Iran had allied with one of America's enemies, and then such and such a thing happened, the same thing, you reverse it, and then an American guy said what Osama bin Laden is saying, is that if you kill their innocents, we're going to kill their innocents and kill their innocents. I don't think it would be that controversial. I think that would be allowed. I think the culture would allow that, bro. I'm not going to lie to you. I think we have effectively 1,000 Osama bin Ladens in America. So we have 1 million of them in Israel. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Exactly. The culture would allow that, bro. And we've seen that the culture allows that. They don't mind innocent people getting killed, so long as it's not their innocent people. That's what we found.
So, Zishan, how do we fix that sort of image with Islam? Because they've done a good job in the past 20 years of demonizing Islam by using figures like Osama bin Laden to misrepresent. They seem like it's a violent religion when it's really very peaceful. Even I had struggles before I became a Muslim with that sort of programming.
Firstly, bro, it's important to understand that Islam is always going to be seen as the bad guy. Reason being because Islam goes against the very things that this society rests upon. For example, I was looking at the alcohol industry, which is a $1.5 trillion industry. Islam comes along and says alcohol is forbidden. But what about this, and the Old Testament said this, and the New Testament? No, it's forbidden. There's no ifs or no buts. Gambling, $1 trillion industry in itself. Islam comes along and says, nope, that's forbidden. Alcohol forbidden, gambling forbidden, drugs is $500 billion industry. Nope, forbidden. The Mujahideen or the Taliban came in before the Americans were making all this money off the opium. Taliban come in and cut the opium. Whatever you might think about them, but cutting off drugs, which Nicaragua, the US were actually utilizing crack cocaine when it came to the Nicaraguans and the Sandinistas before it was already exposed. But here, no drugs. The sex industry, again, worth $500 billion. Again, Islam comes along and says, nope, haram.
The Taliban did a good job of outlawing poppy in Afghanistan.
That's what I'm saying.
The drug problem completely
that's where the opium comes from, isn't it? So Islam comes along with categorical statements, cutting at the roots of these cabal, these individuals that make money off people's miseries. For example, bro, just take industry. Sorry, just take interest. Now, interest
usury,
usury. Now, this is something which the world pretty much relies upon. But if you just break down what interest is,
slavery.
It's slavery, but also it not only promotes extravagance, but what it does is it harms the economy. Now, how does it harm the economy? Someone that's borrowing something, now he's been given interest, he has to retract. He can't spend as much. So now the person that he's buying from, he's selling less stuff. Then the person that supplied him, then the farmer that supplied him, has a knock-on effect. As Muslims, we come along and say sadaqah, which is optional charity, that dispels sins. That removes sins, but it also dispels hardship. If you're going through something, it's difficult, give sadaqah, give charity. We're often told, give charity, even in UK statistics where the faith group that's the highest when it comes to charity. Now, charity is good for the economy because the more charity you're giving, somebody is in need of money. You give charity. That person is able to buy clothes, is able to buy food. Now, if they're able to buy food and clothes, then that means that the shopkeeper that needs to produce clothes and food gets to do more. Then the supplier gets to produce more. So this helps the economy and it reduces extravagance as well. So you will see within the inbuilt systems of Islam
reduces extravagance.
This isn't extravagant. This is
This
love.
looks extravagant. People in the chat are saying all Muslims do is eat. I just do want to remind you guys, it's Ramadan. We did not eat all day long.
Exactly.
This is.
Does anyone want this?
And this is thanks to the brother's
We can't even fit it all
contact.
here.
He obviously wants to,
There's no more space here.
share.
No, you keep it there.
Yeah, don't ask for
So,
more.
bro, even when we look at history,
You know these small ones? Can I have one? Like yeah.
I can don't make anything like it. Well, like this, it's gonna go to waste.
A mono of this one.
They said a few desserts. They're filled with the whole.
That's it. One more of this one.
yeah. So even when it comes to
Can I have that one? Red
like
one.
anyone who's in control and who's in power,
Yeah, but red.
divide and rule has always been the be-all and end-all. For example, if you look in history, there was an actual group called the Bavarian Illuminati. Not the Illuminati, the Bavarian Illuminati. They were scapegoated. After them came the Catholics. After them came the blacks. After them came the this, the that. Now it's just the turn of the Muslims. One of my neighbors, he's black, and he's not a Muslim, but he just laughs with me and he says, you know, now it's just your turn now. Before it was our turn, now it's just your turn. The buck has been passed on, but the buck will stay with us because all the powers that be, they're saying this is a man, no, there is no man, there is no woman. They're trying to change the reality from in front of you. There is no right, there is no wrong. There's no objective morality, SNEAKO. There's nothing. There's no right or wrong. Somebody doing a surgery is the same as somebody scratching his ass, to put it frankly. So when there's no morality, when interest is okay as long as you're making money, as long as you're helping yourself, and individualism, it's fine, you know, as long as you don't hurt somebody else. What does hurt somebody else mean? It doesn't matter, we'll talk about that later. Hey, look at this guy, there's a boxing fight going on. Oh, there's a cricket match going on. Oh, there's a football match. Okay. Oh, Netflix, $1 billion for a Star Wars series. Oh, watch that.
1 billion, bro.
Yeah, 1 billion. That was the budget. So when these sorts of budgets are given there, but when you look at what we're spending, it's not comparable. So Islam will always be a threat to them because even as Speaker's Corner, you and I, we were there today. When you spoke to Jewish people, they do not claim their book is preserved. They do not even profess that is the same book that was there before. Christians, they do not profess that. Hindus don't profess that. Muslims do.
Right.
Muslims profess it's the same exact book.
Right.
We can prove, we have manuscripts, we have a live language, we have people that memorize it from cover to cover. On this table, I will recite something from the Quran, I will make a mistake, 3-4 brothers will be, that's wrong. But if you do that with the New Testament, non-existent.
No one will know.
No one will know, bro.
Right.
So with Islam, because it's preserved, because it's the last line of defense, no prophet to come after Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that Islam is always going to be a threat to them. It's always going to be a threat to the economy. It's going to be a threat to the ideological manipulation. Because now Islam is the last defense, like you mentioned also.
And it's the solution. That's why they see it as a threat, because it's a solution to all these modern slavery problems. But it's fun. I think it strengthened my faith, even though it's not good way for the mental
SNEAKO,
sparring aspect of it. But
which one of my videos led you to the Shahada?
Did you see how there was an awkward pause there?
I was trying to remember.
I was trying to recall which.
It's like when I asked Hamzat Shemaev, I said, so who are the great speakers that you listen to in Islam? And I sat back and waited for it. Oh, Zakir Naik. But you know, this is actually very interesting because the other day, maybe this is like 7 or 8 days ago, I reread a book, a classic, by Samuel Hunt. You might have come across it. It's called The Clash of Civilizations. Have you come across that?
No.
It's a very important work, actually. It's a very important work. In my undergraduate degree, I went through that book because it was like a pop. It was a very important book.
It's getting spicy. SNEAKO is going.
I wanted to kind of revisit it. And the thesis of the book, Samuel P. Huntington, he wrote this 1998, article in a journal called Foreign Affairs, and in it, what he does is that he divides the world's civilizations into 7. He says the world is effectively 7 civilizations, and he tells you what they are. He says it's the Western civilization, it's the Orthodox civilizations like Russian Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox. He says it's the African. I don't know why he says that, because that's a mistake, I think. He says it's the African civilization. There's one African, there's not. But I think he means by that like tribal African, which whatever that means. And then he says the Japanese. He makes that into a civilization by itself. The Indian civilization. I think he makes that into a civilization by itself, or like Hindu or something. Chinese. And then the Islamic China, and not Indian. I don't think it's the China. Yeah. And then the last one is the Islamic civilization. And effectively, the thesis of his book is that in the end of times, we're moving towards a clash between different civilizations, and the clash is most likely to happen effectively between the West and Islam. That's his thesis.
When was this written?
This is 1997, 98. He died in 2001 or 2002.
They killed him.
No, I don't think they would.
Natural death.
He was an advisor to the government. He was an advisor to the government. Okay. So he in the end of his book, he actually gave advice to U.S. government of how to destroy the Islamic civilization. He did it in a subtle way. He said you have to effectively. He just said you have to divide and conquer. He said you have to divide them, create disunity among them. Which is, we're seeing that. If you see how the Muslim world is even mapped out now, it's like that. But the point is that it's very interesting, okay, if you look at the other civilizations, right? China and Russia, the 2 biggest threats, military threats and economic threats right now to the United States of America. Right. Both of them, they don't have a key thing. And this is something that Huntington...
What do you mean a key thing?
I'll tell you what the key... So China has effectively adopted communism in the past. With Mao, they were communists. Now they're just capitalists. He calls it the Confucianist civilization. They don't really have an expansionist policy. They don't have an ideology, an idea that they can expand to the rest of the world.
Manifest destiny.
Yeah, they don't have the idea of a manifest destiny, right? And Russia, the same thing, really. There's only little differences between the Russian civilization and the Western civilization. They really believe in the same religion and Christianity or whatever. What's the difference? It's an authoritarian regime. There's nothing there that you can export to the rest of the world. Islam is the only civilization which has the potential to expand, to export its ideas, and to overtake the liberal world order. And that's why I think he focused on Islam. He really focused on it. He was worried of Islam the most. Because although Russia and China, from that perspective, they are 2 huge powers. Russia less so now, militarily. China's really growing. The Americans are very scared of China. But the Chinese can't really overtake America, let's be honest. Can the Chinese go in and overtake America, like militarily? Very difficult. Very difficult. Honestly, very difficult. Number one. Number two, what are they gonna? If they do, let's do a thought experiment. Let's say they overtake the world. The Chinese overtake the world. Yeah, they're gonna bring to the table. What are you now exporting? Confucianism? They don't care about export. They've never been expansionists like that. China have always cared about their own kind of thing. They don't care about export. They know Islam is expansionist. That's what they're worried about. That we have a system which replaces their system, and it's intelligible. It's got rituals attached to it. It's got religion attached to it. It's got a worldview attached to it. That's why they have to attack Islam, bro. Because I think they're all following the line. People like Bernard Lewis, who wrote a book called What Went Wrong with Islam. Samuel P. Huntington. And there was a guy who's the student of Huntington called Fukuyama.
Francis Fukuyama.
Yeah. A Japanese guy, no?
Yeah. End of history.
End of history. But he had the idea that that's it, the West has won and that's it. Yeah. Nothing needs to be done. Francis Fukuyama. They do, you would agree, right? They listen to these guys. I think that the administrations listen to these guys. They don't listen to the liberals. When it comes to foreign policy and stuff, they listen to these kinds of guys. And I think that what you're seeing with the coalition of the media and the governments against Islam is because they know if Islam unites and it grows, it becomes an immediate challenger and competitive to their world order. So this is expected. If I was the American, put it this way, if I was the Americans and I believed in what they believed, I would tell them exactly what Samuel P. Huntington told them. Divide these guys. If these guys come together, it's a nightmare for all of us.
So what is the Chinese government, what is the CCP doing to the Muslims right now? I hear a lot of different, it's hard to find real information about what's going on over there.
We've interviewed people and it's pretty clear. I mean, first-hand witness testimonies that they are putting them in these kind of concentration camps. They're trying to change them. Remember, it's an authoritarian regime. They consider the Turkic Muslims, East Turkestan, they consider them to be a threat because they have a different identity. So they want to try and amalgamate them to the culture. They're trying to assimilate them to the culture. And they're trying to do it by force because Islam is a very strong culture. So the way they're trying to erase it is they're trying to put people in different places, put kids in compulsory education, separate mother from child. We've seen all these things. But it's China, so they're pretty strong at being able to safeguard themselves from criticism, to do it under surveillance in a certain place. And so you won't be able to see it like social media, like what you're seeing with Palestine. That's the difference. They're not gonna allow that.
And who can criticize them?
They don't have the equivalent of Hamas.
Yeah.
They don't have that. They don't have the equivalent of a resistance group. They are literally under the mercy of this one of the strongest armies in the world. Like,
they don't have Googles in China. Google's not allowed.
Yeah, most social media is not allowed in China.
Yeah. That's another point as well.
Yeah, no WhatsApp, no YouTube.
Yeah.
Wow. They got their own WeChat.
Yeah.
So I was trying to make this as a complementary point because Zishan was making the point that look, there's an economic disincentive because Islam abolishes a lot of stuff that it's their bread and butter, but there's also a civilizational disincentive, and that they realize that if Islam puts itself together as civilization, it becomes the immediate competitor, and it has the ability to overtake, and it has overtaken before. All you have to do is look at the history. It's overtaken so many times before. They know what we're capable of, so they have to suppress us.
Appealing to conspiracy.
Yeah.
Everything you said about Francis Fukuyama and these lot.
Yeah.
200 years ago, there was a guy by the name of Albert Pike.
Okay,
I remember him. Albert Pike. He said first 33-degree Freemason.
Yeah.
In one of his books, he does mention that the final battle will be between the West and Islam.
What's his name?
Albert Pike.
He mentions this 200 years
You've heard
ago.
of this guy?
American general, yeah.
So it's a spiritual thing as well.
Apparently, they say he claimed himself that he could summon Lucifer anytime he wanted. That's what he would claim himself.
Wow, bro.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And apparently, Lucifer spoke to him in a dream, and he orchestrated 3 world wars through this dream. And World War I and World War II already happened.
What was he?
Albert Pike. He's, I think, an American general.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, a 33-degree Freemason.
My God.
Yeah.
Allah, bro. But and we have to be honest, and without going into too much detail, because last time I've seen someone speak about this, their video was actually taken down.
Well, we're on Rumble, we got free speech over here, we'll be okay.
Yeah, well, let me say it anyway, which is I'll be honest, Ahi, and I'm not gonna. There are these ahadith, okay, about the end of times, and these ahadiths basically say, and they're very specific hadiths, bro, and I can't tell you what they mean exactly, but they say in the end of times, the Muslims are going to make an alliance with Ar-Rum. Now, Ar-Rum could either be one of two people. There are two, to put it in Huntington terms, civilizations which are connected to Ar-Rum now, which is the West and the Eastern Orthodox, like the Russians. And it says that they're going to make a tahaluf, or they're going to make an alliance in the end of days. And there's going to be a great war that takes place. And this great war is going to have an army which is composed of 12 flags. And each flag has 80,000 people inside of it. Now, if you add that up, it's 960,000 people. That's 1 million people, bro. In the medieval period, you don't find armies that big. This was not a medieval army. This is a modern day army. The biggest army in the world today, an active reserve, active force, is the Chinese army. And there's 1 million people in that. Bro, So that's 1 million people, it's a Chinese army. We're talking about an army. This hadith is referring to something very modern, where there will be an army of 1 million people, bro. An army of 1 million. The entire what would be the equivalent of the entire active personnel of the biggest army in the world now. America doesn't have that many. It has like what, 400,000, 500,000, something like that. Active personnel, not reservists. Active personnel. So the point I'm making to you is, it then says that these people, that this Abrum, they will go against the alliance, and basically it's going to signal the end of days, bro. This is when the Mahdi is coming, and Dajjal, and the Yajuj, all that stuff is going to happen. But it seems to me, Akhi, everything is clearly moving in that direction.
When is the end? When is the Dajjal going to show up? Do you think it's coming real soon?
It's Allahu A'lam, but here's the thing. Brother mentioned it before yesterday. There's, the minor signs and the major signs of the Day of Judgment. Yeah. Right. The minor signs are almost all done.
Yeah.
Which is mad because there's so many of them. There's like 50 or 60 of them. So one of them was like, let me give you an example of something. One of them was the conquest of Jerusalem. Islam conquered Jerusalem in the first 10 years of Islam with Umar ibn Khattab. Yeah, that was done quickly. So another one is like, for example, the competing of the tall buildings. We talked about that yesterday.
Dubai.
Another one is interest, the spread of interest. Bro, can you imagine this? There's a hadith that says that interest will be so widespread. Men lam ya'kulhu asabethu min ghubarihi. Whoever doesn't consume the interest, he will be afflicted by its dust. That's a hadith. Bro, one of the things that the Prophet said is that there will be sexually transmitted diseases. But by the way, not just STDs. STDs that will come about, there'll be advent of STDs due to sexual promiscuity.
Monkeypox.
There's
1 million people in London that have STDs.
Yeah, 1 million people, bro.
Ali, did you get monkeypox?
You know.
He didn't answer though.
You know what's funny? I remember when this was going around here. I was vomiting, I was sick here, and there was these spots around my back here. No. So the ambulance, they came, they took me, yeah. And then I was in the ambulance, and then I could hear the nurses going, we can't take him in. We need to we can't take him in. We need to see if it's monkeypox, yeah.
No way.
And I was like, what's this monkeypox about, bro? And then I found out later, yeah.
Did they ask you if you're homosexual? Sorry to say.
No, they didn't. They were just like, oh, does it look like that?
Bro, I came across a hadith talking about homosexuality.
But it says there'll be new diseases that I've never heard of before.
That's authentic. There's a weak hadith, very interesting.
Yeah.
Do you know what it goes? It's a weak hadith, I'll be clear. It's in Tabaqat al-Kubra of Tabarani. It goes, أن يكتفى الرجل بالرجل والمرأة بالمرأة. That a man will be satisfied with only a man. He doesn't need a woman in his life. So he'll be gay. Okay? And a woman will be satisfied with, she's lesbian, akhi. Bro, even, do you know, like...
That's I've heard of.
Yeah. Bro,
man's moving wet.
There is even, do you know the feminist movement? That the woman will get into the workforce. There's a hadith talking about that. That the woman will now go into the workforce.
So now we're going to see the major signs of the end times coming.
Yeah, so effectively, like I would say 95% of the minor signs.
Talking about what the Prophet said, I don't know if it's authentic, but once the minor signs are done, by the way, Imam Mahdi coming, some say it's a minor sign, some say it's a major sign.
Yeah.
So now what they say is that the major signs will happen like, like a bead, when you cut a bead.
Yeah.
And it will fall one after another.
Yeah,
the major signs will happen one after another. So it wouldn't be like a big time gap. So it just shows you that we are literally like on the verge of that.
Can I ask you, I'm learning more about this, and I was speaking to a Jewish fan of mine. He came up to me and he was like, "Oh, why do you speak that? Why? I'm not anti-Semitic at all, but I'll speak about all religions." And so I was learning more. I brought him on stream again, and I was telling him about how Jesus is the Messiah in Islam, because he's saying that we don't believe in Jesus, but it's actually a misconception that Christians don't realize that we believe that Jesus is the Messiah.
Yeah.
And I was asking him what he believes, and he was describing the Jewish Messiah. And I'd never heard about this term before. I don't remember what the word is. Mashiach? Or something like that. And basically in Islam, the Dajjal is the Mashiach. Their own Messiah is the Dajjal in Islam.
Exactly. Let me ask you a question. I speak to some Christians, yeah? They come and say, Islam is the Dajjal's religion, etc. I say to them, very simple. Dajjal is going to be a human being, who's going to claim what? That he is God. And he's going to do what? Miracles.
Yeah.
Who believes that God is a man and does miracles?
The Christians. The Trinitarian Christians.
So who's going to fall for the trap of, and of course we have narrations that there'll be people who fall for it as well.
Salam, brother. How are you? Mashallah.
The point is this. So
it's your lucky day, brother. I'm taking that.
So the point is this, Aki. If you think about it, you guys are the ones that believe God can become a man and will do miracles. So that, I don't know, doesn't wake you up. Hello? And it just doesn't. You can see, I'm like, if there's anyone that's going to follow the Dajjal, it's you. Because he's going to come and say, I'm God, I'm divine. What, he can't make himself look like Jesus and put some marks on his hand? So the point is here, it's very clear. Like you say, he cannot. Is it really difficult? He's going to control the weather. There's so many things even in the Bible it says. So again, they are the ones that's going to follow that Messiah.
In defense of the Christians, because there's a lot of them watching, I did see a video, I want to bring it up in defense of them, of I think it was nearby in England somewhere, there was this whole masjid, and there was a guy going, poof, poof.
Oh, choof.
Oh yeah,
choof.
choof.
The choof.
We did a video reacting to
choof, choof.
Yeah, choof guy.
And then they're all doing this choof choof thing, thinking that it's gonna go give them. Well, I don't know what it was.
Innovation.
But the whole masjid was believing in choof choof. Yeah. And these are the people that are gonna. These are the people that will believe in the Jal when the Jal comes.
I thought that was Pakistan, bro. It was Birmingham.
Am I wrong?
Bro, it's Birmingham, bro. When I heard that, I thought it was Pakistan. It was Birmingham. They were holding their hands like this. It was in Birmingham. In Birmingham, it was happening. But who's going to be the majority of the followers of the Dajjal? Like, well, the ones that...
The choof people are going to fall for it.
Women are going to...
Women too, of course.
No, maybe.
It was Bradford, right?
Because, I mean, women are naturally, inherently followers by design.
Yes, groupie mentality, etc. They are naturally bound, but...
What does the Hadith say? You have to chain...
You will have to chain them up. Danny, we're not asking to chain anybody up here.
Unless you like that.
Because I was wild.
Zisha, do you see signs of the end times? Or is this paranoid thinking? Is it even worth speaking about? Because it's all prophesized and it's out of our control.
One thing that I've noticed, and this was happening even in India as well, that there's this prophecy called Ghazwa-e-Hind, the Battle of Hind. And what happens with these prophecies is sometimes we rely too much on these prophecies, and we say, oh, it's gonna be this particular thing, the end times are coming. Even when I post videos, and it becomes more and more crazier with regards to what sort of stuff is going on. And it's all, current affairs, just current affairs stuff that's going on. I see people going, the day of judgment is close now. The Dajjal is going to be here very soon. But we don't know how long it's going to take. Might take 1 year, might take 5 years, 10 years, 50 years, 100 years, 200 years. You just don't know. And this whole thing that, yes, the signs of the day of judgment are going to happen. They're going to happen when they're going to happen. But for us as people living, to just rely on them and go, you know what, forget it, I can't do anything, I just lock everything off. Or like, he says it tongue in cheek, like, I'm ready for the asteroid now.
Yeah, you know.
So obviously it doesn't mean it like that. But the thing is that when some people rely on it too much, and it leads to inaction, and they think, you know what, it's going to happen soon, we don't know when it's going to happen. Yes, it's enough of a sign for us to realize that, you know what, it is end times. And yes, these are not good things to be happening. These are not things to be celebrated. However, we continue doing whatever's in our power. For example, we go Speaker's Corner, we continue going Speaker's Corner. Right. Even if the Day of Judgment comes as a narration to suggest that even if you're planting something, finish planting it. Yeah, because that's your job. That's what you're supposed to do. Don't stop doing something just because, oh, Day of Judgment, I'll just leave this here. Because you're still supposed to finish what you're doing, and you still, keep plugging forward.
Not only that, when it comes to the judgment, why are we so fixated of Dajjal, Messiah, this, that? There's a hadith of the Prophet, peace be upon him, of a young boy. And I think that, in a nutshell, paraphrasing, he says that, before he dies, he'll see, something like that, he'll see the Day of Judgment. Something along those lines. But the point was what? The moment you die is your Day of Judgment. The moment you die, that's the hereafter. That's all that unseen thing you want to wait for the Dajjal. Forget that, you're going to see more of that. Work on the Day of Judgment that's going to start for you when you die. And that can be any second. Not forget 10 years, when is the Dajjal coming? 50 years, or even predict it. Forget that. The moment you die is your Day of Judgment. Exactly. The moment you die is your Day of Judgment. Because you're going to see the unseen. You're going to be seeing those angels that we were talking about. You're going to be asked the questions. So your Day of Judgment is then. Worry about that, because people are very speculating. It's far away. Forget that. Your Day of Judgment will start the day you die. So work on that day. And it just amazes me. Many people are working on being graduating from university. When I pass, they celebrated. They're so fixated. People call me, please make dua that I pass my exams. I'm like, it's good. I appreciate effort. But do you put the same effort to the exam? It's your destiny, man. That's going to be the thing that when the angel of death comes and takes your soul. And if I was deep in this a couple of years ago, I spoke to you as well, is that just think about it. The most important thing in my life is this. The moment I die, And I'm not saying that the angels have a mouth or nothing, but I just want to know, I just want to hear the following. Come out to the mercy. I'm done, bro. That's the thing that I've been waiting for all my life. Coming out to the mercy of Allah. Because if they say come out to the wrath of your Lord,
these are the two options.
These are the two options, by the way. So when our soul is taken, the angels will either come and say come out to the mercy of your Lord, or come out to the wrath of your Lord. Yeah. The most important thing for any believer is when I die, that inshallah it will be that the angels say come out to the mercy of your Lord. The moment they say mercy, bro, it's like, bro, alhamdulillah, past. That's all I care about, bro. I don't care about this or that. But not many people are fixated on that. It's like a game for them, Netflix. When's the Dajjal coming? When's the Messiah?
Because even if these things are happening, like how does it affect your daily life?
It doesn't.
You know what I mean?
And also,
but it does show you the reality of these things as well. And you know, obviously, you made a fantastic point. But also, one of the ways we could possibly predict when it's happening is pay attention to the people who's waiting for him. If these people, these so-called people, are waiting for him, and they're going to do the rituals in order to, you know, give Dajjal his powers, then why don't we just keep an eye on them and, you know, based on...
And instead of waiting for Mahdi, why don't you prepare to be like him?
Yeah.
Everyone's like waiting for a Mahdi, the Mahdi's coming. Brother, why don't you try to be like him? Why are you waiting for a savior? Why don't you start working? If the ummah, if everybody did their part, bro, wallahi, people talk about, oh, we need to advise that sister who doesn't wear the hijab correctly, or that brother is smoking. If everybody focused on their family and fixed their family, nobody needs to warn another family.
That's such a good point. Because even our du'as as well, when we supplicate, now is Ramadan, before we open our fast, the dua that we make, there's a strong possibility of it being accepted. And one of the du'as should be, oh Allah, think about your lineage. Oh Allah, make my children such that they will be on the side of the Mahdi, that they will be on the side of Isa alayhi salam, rather than the side of the Dajjal. Rather than disgracing the religion, they will be honoring the religion. And that's the thing. There was a sheikh who's somewhat famous now, and they said, you know what made you come on the right path? He said, when I would get up in the morning and I would come down the stairs, I could hear my father weeping on the prayer mat, oh Allah, guide my son. And he said that when I would see somebody as masculine as him and he has his stuff together, but he's on the prayer mat and he's crying. And who is he crying for? He's crying for me. He said that made me, you know, that really kind of got to me. So it's stuff like this, that hearing stuff like that, like the brother rightly said, it should get us to kind of, it should motivate us into action. That, you know what, this is what I say in some of my videos towards the end, that after mentioning the current affair, I say, if this isn't going to wake you up, if this isn't going to show you that now is the time to change, now is the time to turn closer to Allah, then when is? You know what I mean? If you've got all these signs taking place, what are you waiting for? You know what I mean? Like, now is the time.
Before we go to the next question, I have to change the camera battery. If you give me 10 seconds.
Shout out to everyone. Okay.
He is throwing those punches harder. Oh, here we go.
Oh my God, my Lord, help me to make my iman better. Yo, help me. Okay, he's back.
I can't believe your name was mentioned.
Yeah.
And I was like, what did you say? Something about anti-Semitism or something?
Yeah, anti-Semitism. Yeah. That's the number one.
Really?
That's the number one. Are we back?
Yeah, I've been back.
I want to. So we went to Speaker's Corner today. You were all there. Yeah. I want to ask all of you, like, what do you get specifically out of that? Because I was talking to my friends and we were trying to figure it out. It was pretty entertaining. It's a fun playground for adults. It's good to go back and forth. Of course, like the people that watch my stream, they love to debate about stuff like this all day. Ultimately, a lot of it is kind of a waste of time for most people, but it's a good mental exercise. I'm wondering.
But before we get there, can I share a couple of things with you, Aki?
Okay.
Because I was just on the. I find it interesting. Before we close the door on the minor eschatology things. There's some hadith that I came across recently. Yeah, very interesting about the signs of the Day of Judgment, because I think this actually constitutes one of the best arguments for the truth of Islam. Because you don't need to have linguistic ability, or we already spoke about some of the stuff before, like for instance the intishar al-riba, or the idea that interest will increase, and zina, you know, for example, will lead to STDs, or like the idea of promiscuity leads to STDs, the tall buildings, where Islam will spread, what countries and so on. But let me give you some other hadiths, very interesting, yeah? This is narrated by Umar ibn Ishaq, he said, a woman will be taken and her stomach will be ripped open. Then what is in her womb will be taken out and discarded for fear of giving birth. This is a hadith, authentic. Can you imagine? Can you see how deep that is? Yeah. Look, I mean, these are the kinds of things that is predicted before the Day of Judgment. So let me say again, yeah? Yeah. That Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu narrated, and this is in Musannaf ibn Abi Shayba, yeah? It's authentic hadith. It says, a woman will be taken, yes? And her stomach will be ripped open. Then what is in her womb will be taken out and discarded for fear of giving birth. This is clear what it's talking about, bro. Right. It's talking about abortion. Abortion, which is can you imagine? More common than ever. That is so precise. Specific too. Very precise. That
where women will go in the street and they'll celebrate it like a parade.
Another thing that came to mind, I don't know if it relates about that, isn't that a C-section because a woman is afraid of giving natural birth?
Could be.
And it's a C-section.
Could be. So listen to this, yeah? Another thing which is mentioned, which is really powerful, is there's a hadith that goes as follows, yeah? The hour will not be established until you fight a Turk, yeah? Who are these a Turk? No, not Turkish. it's not Turkish, as in, because Turkey is a modern nation. Yeah. It's not talking about Turkish people. It's talking about Turkic people, and there's a difference. So like the Mongols and stuff, they're Turkics. So listen to what it says, yeah? People with small eyes, red faces, and flat nose.
Asians?
Yeah, but it's not just any Asians. It's very specific Asians. Okay, who is it? Their faces will look like shields coated with leather. The hour will not be established till you fight with people whose shoes are made of hair. Now, these people, and I'll give you another hadith. This is Bukhari, by the way. This hadith coming up here is Sunan Abu Dawood. Goes, some of my people will align on low-lying ground, which they call Al-Basra, beside a river called Dijla, the Tigris. Over there is a bridge. Its people will be numerous and it will be one of the capital cities of immigrants. At the end of time, the descendants of Qantara will come with broad faces, small eyes that align on the bank of the river. The town's inhabitants will then separate into 3 sections, one of which will follow cattle and live in the desert and perish, another which will seek security for themselves and perish, but a third will put their children behind their backs and fight the invaders, and they will be the martyrs. So, who is this talking about? It's very clearly talking about the Mongols. It is 100%. Now, this, if you look at what happened with the Mongols, is one of the most significant historical moments ever. If you just research the Mongols and how the Mongols interacted with the Muslims, there was a massive fight that took between the Mongols and the Muslims. It led to actually the Mongols converting to Islam. There's a whole history behind that. But the precision of that hadith, because those Mongols, bro, they had shoes that were made out of hair. The same thing that is mentioned in the hadith exactly happened. Now, you imagine, Constantinople is mentioned in hadith, which is the crown jewel of the Roman Empire. That will be overtaken.
It's Istanbul today.
Istanbul today. You had Jerusalem mentioned in the hadith. That will be overtaken. You have the Mongols. You have the most significant events in history between the time of the Prophet and now, spelled out in the most precise way. So, do you know when, like, for example, there's a prediction that is made in the Quran Sunnah? It's there to show us that if God can get all of these so right, so when it comes to Ad-Dajjal, when it comes to Al-Mahdi, when it comes to the second coming of Jesus Christ, if there's already proof that these prophecies came correct like that, then surely we should accept, okay, it's only a matter of time now, bro. Because that's why this is the benefit of the minor signs of the Day of Judgment. Bro, one of the minor signs is that obesity will become widespread. Obesity, bro, is mentioned in hadith.
It's the fattest America's ever been, and London too.
Yeah, the UK, and bro, it's unbelievable how much sophistication and precision there is. Some general trends are mentioned. For example, that knowledge will become very widespread, extremely widespread. Literacy, written material will be overly widespread. but also that money will be completely widespread.
Not only that, but with knowledge widespread, there will be ignorance.
Ignorance will be
This is very
widespread.
profound because
Yes.
everyone relies on Google.
Yes.
Because when you think about knowledge being widespread, people are
Interesting.
more knowledgeable. No, rather they'll be ignorant.
That's a very good
Yes.
point. So you have these two almost. You would not think that these two
Opposites.
trends will come
Yeah,
together,
opposite.
but in one aspect, from another perspective, actually, despite the increase of knowledge, it's still ignorance.
So it's like having tons of books, but no one's reading them.
Yes, why? Because Google, you can just Google. There's no memorization anymore.
Ariyat
What about-
kasiyat. That's a good one.
Women will be naked but clothed.
Yeah,
That's Hadith.
yes. So look at this. Look at
So-
Sahih Muslim. Yeah. So look at.
Bikinis and you know the Bella sisters sometimes
No,
they
but-
wear clothes.
Oh, that this tight clothing, bro. That's-
Or spandex.
See-through
Spandex.
clothes.
Spandex.
You know, you can see everything
Yeah.
because there's some that are absolute see-through. But
Yes.
they've got a cloth, but you can see everything.
Bro, do you know that hadith is so interesting because it's in Sahih Muslim. The way it goes is this: it goes that there will be a time, yeah, where people will be traveling in these things called a suruj. Yeah, it's called suruj. I'll explain what this means.
Is it authentic?
It's authentic Sahih Muslim. Sahih Muslim, yeah, it's the second most authentic book in Islam. After, like obviously the Quran, Bukhari and Muslim. And it says that they will be traveling and they will be reclining inside these suruj. Suruj is a name for a ship. Okay. Now, classically, you had these Roman ships which actually had little wheels on them. So it's saying that you have some ship-like things that are going to be moving around on the ground, on the earth, and people are going to be reclining inside of them. Listen to this, yeah. They're going to be reclining inside of them, and inside of this vehicle, there's going to be women that what are they dressed like? Ariyat kasiyat. Ariyat kasiyat means they're dressed, but they're clothed, but they appear unclothed. Now, effectively, all the shurrah have said this means two things. It means that their clothes are so tight that they might as well be naked.
That's Miami. That's every girl in Miami you see walk around the gym. Their clothes are so tight you see their whole body.
Yeah. Or it could mean that they're wearing such little clothes that this doesn't classify as covering.
It doesn't really.
Yeah, it doesn't classify as covering.
Bikinis.
It doesn't classify. You're not covering yourself. That's not the way that traditionally how someone would cover themselves. So, can you imagine, bro? These are the things that the kinds of examples of what the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said would happen before the day of judgment, before Ad-Dajjal, before all of these things which we're talking about. Because we're talking about 90%, and I've just given you like only 10 examples, yeah, 10 or 15 examples. 90% of this kind of stuff, 90 to 95% has come true. It seems incredulous. This other stuff is not going to happen, but it will happen quickly, bro. And I think it's going to happen. It might happen in our lifetimes. The day of judgment might happen in all of our lifetimes. It's a possibility. We don't know what it's going to be.
What are some signs of the end times in the Israel-Palestine conflict right now? I was speaking to the Warner, and sometimes like I've heard talks of how Israel might be guarding some books and some information, that there's something deeper that's happening in this war that has to do.
So the thing is, yeah, I actually looked into this because I was interested, because I came across these hadiths about Gaza in particular. Gaza. The hadiths about Gaza.
Hadith about Gaza.
There's hadiths about Gaza. However, all of the hadiths about Gaza have weaknesses.
About the tree. What about the tree?
The gharqat, but that's different. Let me get to the Gaza one. I can read it for you if you like.
Okay.
Because actually, yes, Al-Hanafi sent me this, and I was. One second, let me get it.
Yeah, as he's getting that, there's something that's just come out a couple of days ago.
Thank you for reading that. I didn't know what you were looking at. I thought he was texting. He was bored.
Yeah, no, he's finding it. But there's something called the Red Heifer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's something
that's Hadith.
So this is a prophecy of the Jews. So they believe that they need to find. So again,
then what's right in this situation?
Or even
unblemished. For years, decades, centuries, possibly even, they've been searching for it, and they haven't found it. However, only recently they found 5 in Texas, and using American Airlines, they've transported them over, and they believe that this red heifer, once it's sacrificed and it's burnt, and there are certain pure priests, then when that whole situation is cleared, then Aqsa,
the Temple Mount.
The Temple Mount.
Masjid al-Aqsa.
Yeah, Masjid al-Aqsa. You know, place in Islam.
Where is that?
Jerusalem.
It looks like a gold.
Okay, that wasn't bombed, was it?
No, so that's a mosque, isn't it? That's
like a courtyard.
Yeah, Al-Aqsa is a courtyard.
It's got a
There's like,
fortress.
yes. So that whole courtyard is called Aqsa.
Okay.
So that, of course, Muslims go there. It's the third holiest site, and you know, alhamdulillah, fantastic. But for years they've been, you know, weakening. Some people say that they've been weakening the foundations. This used to be like a fringe opinion that they want to build the third temple, the Temple of Solomon up there.
They want to build it there.
So it was a very fringe opinion, but now it's so mainstream, even in politics, that this is something that is ridiculous to deny. And they're saying,
why do they need to build the third temple for the coming of who?
For the coming of they say the Messiah, but
the Antichrist.
Yeah. So the evangelicals are trying to continue this as well, or rather to catalyze this, because they believe that of course the Messiah is going to come. So
do the Jews admit that they're waiting for the coming of the Antichrist?
No, of course.
Yes, you say no.
No, Antichrist. They think it's the Messiah, but we say it's the Dajjal. Like you said, remember they.
So why didn't they accept that as the Antichrist if it's?
No. They go into it's the Messiah, but it's going to be the Antichrist.
You know what that is, yeah?
The Jews are going to follow them. The Christians are going to follow him. And not only that, who's it? They said 40 from Khorasan or somewhere. They're going to have a following, but it's really Antichrist in reality.
And the atheists are as well going to follow him.
Because they found the Red Heifer, now the prophecy, they're going to, once they found it in April, they're saying that that's when they're going to enact this ceremony. So the next coming year or so is going to be very indicative. Because according to their prophecy, they should start building the third temple from April. And once they start doing that, then, I mean, there's going to be, well, hopefully there's going to be uproar, but the way things are now, with what's going on in Palestine, there's supposed to be uproar, but which country do we see speaking out? So when Aqsa gets taken, who's going to speak out? What the Qataris that rely on the Americans, or the Jordanians that rely on the Americans, the Saudi, the only country that's named after their king, that of course was done at the advent of the demolishing of the Ottoman Empire. I mean, what can we really hope for? But people are saying that from April, so this is because you asked for their prophecy, this is their prophecy, and you can search this up as well. It's called the Red Heifer prophecy. It's making the rounds as well, but it's really going to be something to look out for.
I've come across a hadith, bro.
And this is supposed to all happen in the next month.
This year in April, they're saying that that's when they're going to enact this out and then push forward the building.
But there has to be caveat made, because the idea of accelerating the process of the coming of Mahdi, the Antichrist, is something that is propagated by the Zionists. The religious Jews believe that you cannot accelerate the process. It is something that happens naturally.
Exactly.
So it's only the Zionists who are interested in
and
that.
it will only come if there's no state of Israel.
Yes.
Because they believe that for their Mahdi, their Messiah to come, there should be no Israel.
No state of Israel.
Yeah. So when they're trying to build the third temple, so what's happening is this, bro. They're trying to build the third temple for their Messiah to come, and the Christians, the Jewish, the lobby, the Zionist lobby in America are Christians, by the way. The reason they're promoting this is because saying, when this happens, Jesus will come. So when Jesus will come, he'll kill the Jews and everybody for that matter. So the Christians are supporting the Jews, even though they're not the same. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So what they're doing is like, let's promote this, because when this happens, Jesus will come, which is going to be.
I thought they were just brainwashed.
No, they're very calculated. It's a religious thing. They know. So their Jesus is Dajjal, and then the Messiah of the Jews is Dajjal.
Right.
You know, there's a hadith I just come across now.
But before you read the hadith quickly, I just want to say, I was going to ask, like, what could we do in preparation for this? But if it's all prophesized, there's nothing we really can do. This is all going to happen. It's supposed to happen. So the people watching right now, if they're getting scared and like, what do I do? Is there anything we can?
Yeah, Allah says in the Quran, save yourself and your family from the fire. Yourself and your family. So sometimes people want to save the whole world.
Be self-sufficient first.
Look, listen, save yourself and your family, please, first. Before you want to go and save the whole world, it's very important. It's a reminder for myself first. Sometimes I go give dawah to everybody. But my house, my brother, my mom, we need to sometimes focus. It's everybody will focus on their family. Our goal is what? La ilaha illallah. Allah doesn't want the results. He just wants you to die on the path. Not the end. I don't want to see that die on the path. That should be our main focus, because what's going to happen is going to happen. Do you get it?
Right.
And there are prophecies that we're going to conquer Jerusalem. Jesus is going to come. He's going to kill the Dajjal. There's going to be peace on earth. So these things are going to happen.
So this period will definitely end. But the thing is, life is all about peaks and troughs.
Yeah.
That's why even when you see a person in hospital and you look at the beep, 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 it's up, down, and that's indicative of what life is. It goes up, then it comes down. I mean, the end time that will go up to the Kaaba, this will be right towards the end, and he will take it apart brick from brick.
Yeah.
So at the time of Jesus, that will be our peak time.
Yeah.
And there's always peaks and troughs. That's just the way the world works.
But to answer what he's asking, what are we supposed to do? The very fact that we know about the science, because the Sahabas, they would make this like a life mission to know all the science. The reason why they wanted to know all the science is in preparation to know, to differentiate between the Antichrist and Jesus Christ by knowing the science. The signs are an indication, okay, I have to prepare myself. The Prophet Muhammad talks about the idea that there will be people that will remove themselves from society and they will go away to the mountains and worship God to stay away from the influences of Dajjal. So knowing the signs is the preparation itself against...
so some people, like we mentioned, they'll be praying for their lineage, that Allah protects their lineage. Like Dawood says as well, bro, some people are making hijrah, they're moving to Muslim countries, as you've heard in your circles as well. Some people are moving to Dubai, some people are moving to Turkey, some people are saying, you know what, we actually can't live in certain countries. Some people, they know that, for example, when the whole Aqsa thing happens, I mean, you do whatever you can is around you, and that's all you can do, like Ali mentioned as well. So you marry all of these things together and you do whatever's in your means. Like if your building's on fire, you're never going to be able to rescue everybody, and you're never going to be able to change everything, but you can change what's around you. And you want to be that flame to the darkness that's around you. And if there's enough flames, that's enough to light up the room, but you can't light up the entire room. That's not in your hands. Yeah, there will always be people that choose the darkness, and you can't change that. And that's why even the Prophet's uncle, there were examples even in the Prophet's life, his uncle didn't accept Islam. So guidance, ultimately, some people just look at the Prophet, they'll accept Islam. So that's what it comes down to, like understanding and acknowledging everything lies in our hands, while in the control of Allah. But we do, there's a saying, do your best, Allah will do the rest. That's all we can do. Do your best,
Allah will do the rest.
Yeah.
Amen, brother.
Mohammed, did you find the hadith?
I got the hadith. Because I had already thought that all of these hadith are weak about Gaza and Ashkelon. You know, you might have seen what's happened on the news. Ashkelon became quite popular because Ashkelon's right next to Gaza. Asqalan. It's called Asqalan. You might have heard Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. Asqalan. There's one in Egypt and one in Gaza, but near Gaza. But the one mentioned the hadith is actually the one near Gaza. Okay. Now, this is what the hadith says, and this hadith has been authenticated by the likes of Albani and others. Yeah, it's not a weak hadith. It says the first of this matter is a prophecy and mercy. Then it becomes a caliphate and mercy. So we've already had that. We had prophecy, we had a caliphate. Then it becomes kingship and mercy. That's exactly what happened. Because you had the Abbasids, then you had the Umayyads. Yeah. Then it becomes dictatorship and mercy. That's what we have now. So this is how the Prophet ﷺ is telling us exactly what has happened in history is what's happening
in terms of governance.
In terms of governance, right? Listen to this. Then they will fight over it like the fighting of hungry camels. They're going to be fighting over different things, over the fighting of like hungry camels. So upon you is to engage in jihad. Listen to what the hadith says. And indeed, the best of your jihad is patience, and the best of your patience is at the beginning. Okay.
So jihad doesn't have to be attacked.
So, and the best of your jihad is in Asqalan.
What is Asqalan?
Asqalan is you know sorry to say, what we saw Ashkelon is in the kibbutz right outside of Gaza. So you've got Gaza here. Ashkelon is it's a 10-minute drive from Gaza. So if you imagine the lines here that have been drawn, this hadith could indicate that the Muslim governance the moment that the jihad reaches there, that's something's going to happen. That's going to reach to the end of days. And that's why I think the Palestine issue, akhi, it could be the trigger for World War III.
Goosebumps, bro.
If you think about it, akhi, just think about this. Because here it's saying hadith is clear. But it's unbelievable how clear this hadith is. How can the Prophet ﷺ, if you know the history of like Islamic history, this is undisputed history. First you had the Prophet ﷺ, then you had Khilafah Rashidiyah, then you had exactly what the Prophet said, then you had the Abbasids and the Umayyads. The Umayyads and the Abbasids.
Break it down.
They were kings. It's like monarchy. Then after that, what do we have now in the Muslim world? You have dictators. It's authoritarian regime. It's not a democracy. It is a dictatorship in most of the countries. There's 59 Muslim majority countries. Most of them are characterized by authoritarian regime. This is exactly, according to the hadith, this is the penultimate stage of history. So right now, it's like if we're reading a book, this is the second to last chapter. We are on the second to last chapter. The next chapter is the conclusion of the book of history. The end of history for Qiyamah. The real end of history, honestly. So what I'm saying is that, and that hadith was so interesting. Why does it indicate Asqalan, bro? Let's be clear about something. With the current Gaza conflict, the current Gaza conflict showed us it's unlikely that the small band of resistance fighters, whoever they may be, in Gaza are going to overtake new land. Let's be honest. Let's say, for example, now, militarily and strategically, if Hamas, what is the best it can hope for? Resistance, like they can repel the enemy outside of Gaza. That's the best they can hope for. No one is predicting that Hamas or any other resistance group in Gaza will go into Ashkelon, which is by the way right next to Tel Aviv. Ashkelon's on the way to Tel Aviv, bro.
Really?
Yeah, Ashkelon. So you've got here.
What separates it?
It's kibbutz. Only a few towns, bro. Between Gaza and Tel Aviv is an hour in driving in terms. Between Gaza and Ashkelon is 10 minutes. Running, jogging. It's not far. That's not that far away. So what I'm saying is, bro, a place like Ashkelon will be overtaken by a combined effort of the Muslim armies. That happens. Everyone knows. The moment that happens, it may be a trick. It might be like, you know how Franz Ferdinand, World War I, that was a catalyst, World War.
Apparently.
Yeah, they say, right? But it can be the alliance system, that can have a system like that, bro. It could be that this thing about Palestine is going to lead to the end of days. Could be. Which shows you, akhi, this is a special place. And this is connected to these very many authentic hadiths, authentic. Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, all of these. That there will be a ta'ifatun mansura. There will be a saved sect. Now there's an idea of saved sect. There's some people in Britain that they think they're the saved sect. So, to be honest,
who are these Wahhabis?
No, they're called the Madkhalis. They say we are the saved sect.
You know the ones that have problem with us all, everyone.
Yeah, they have problem.
That's them.
Yeah. So they say that we are the saved sect. They proclaim. But listen, if you read the hadith on the saved sect, you know what the things it says about the saved sect? That they will be around Beit Maqdis. They'll be around Asham. They'll be in that area. So why are you doing in Britain, bro? No, this is so. It says the saved sect is gonna be around Jerusalem.
Not Shepherd's Bush.
Not Shepherd's Bush. Not Birmingham. It doesn't say Birmingham there.
Why?
It doesn't say. It says going to be. So can you imagine here? This shows you, number one, the virtue of the Palestinian people and of the people in that area, because there's a reason why Allah's taking these people as martyrs. Wallahi, there's a reason for that. Yeah. The reason is because look how humble they are, akhi. They're the opposite of, sorry to say, the Zionists. Everything is the Zionists, these guys are the opposite. Exactly. They're showing humility, they're showing tawakkul, this and that, and reliance on it. The Zionists are arrogant, they want to kill the babies. It's like Pharaoh and Moses. Yes. Wallahi, the Zionists are like Pharaoh in the Bible, bro, and the Quran. They remind me of Pharaoh. Yes. Modern day pharaohs, akhi. So what I'm saying is, it seems to me that this is a key part of the story, bro. And you know that it's a controversial hadith, but we'll mention it. Very controversial. In the end of days, there will be a fight between Muslims and the Jews, and the hadith says that there will be a tree called the gharqad tree, and it will say the tree will somehow speak or communicate with the Muslim and say, there's a Jew behind me, come and kill him. There's a Jew behind me, come and kill him. Okay, now...
Why is it controversial?
Because they say, oh, because it's anti-Semitic. Okay? You know? It's not talking about Jewish babies and children and the innocents. And it just so happens, sorry to say, majority of Zionists are Jewish. Our beef is with the Zionists. And most of the Zionists in the world, if you did a poll on them, you don't find like black nationalist Zionists. You don't find, you know, Hindu Zionists. I mean, you do find some of those, sorry to say, what they call Pajit or whatever. But that's something else. What I'm saying is...
familiar with the
Pajit.
There's Zishan's mates now. It's like
25,000 Jews will be following Dajjal.
I'll have to look at the authenticity.
Hijab,
I'll check
I
it.
got a question.
But let me get this one. So this one here, what I'm saying is, the eschatological picture of Islam is that in the end of times, there will be a clash of civilization. And part of it, clearly, Muslims will be against some Jewish people. Some Zionist people, let's say, for the sake of argument. Bro, this is too delicate. It's mentioning the names of the city, bro. It's mentioning the key areas of... Bro, Ashkelon was on the news the other day, bro.
That's geopolitics for you, that.
Bro, Ashkelon was... That's where Hamas got killed. That's where they were fighting the people. That's where they went out. And that was Ashkelon.
Oh, wow.
Bro, they came out and they got shot dead in Ashkelon. They went out to Ashkelon with the paraglider.
Yeah.
They went to Ashkelon, bro. Where did they think they went? Akhi, this is too delicate. It shows you that the prophecies of the Hadith are too in line now with the geopolitical relevancies of the day. Yeah. Bro, we need to really, this for me, it's like, wallah, when I think about all these Hadiths, I think the Day of Judgment is coming, bro. It's coming, it's close.
How soon do you think?
I don't know, Allahu A'lam. I mean,
you do a lot more research on this than I thought you did. Like, I thought you would be the type of person to be like, there's no point in researching this, there's no point in like...
No, I like this, I don't try and speculate. There's a lot of hadiths that you can put a lot of speculation into it. But this, bro, like, you know, this is pretty clear, bro. This is clear cut, bro, isn't it?
Well, you don't think it's worth it? Just protect your family. There's no point in trying to change what's already prophesied.
I'm just saying that, for example, these things are important. It's good to educate us like hijab does. But to now get to lose hope and we're finished, or what can I do? What I'm saying is that
defeatist mentality.
That's what I'm saying. Because a lot of people are like, oh, the Dajjal is going to come, and that's going to happen. This was going to Palestine. We're finished. No, this shouldn't be the attitude of a believer. So what I'm saying is that if everybody internally corrected their affair, then this will have a ripple effect. The reason why we're in the state we are is because of our love for the world. What I'm saying is we need to reverse that and put our love to living for and dying for La ilaha illallah. If every Muslim done that, wallahi, we will not be in this situation. Because we are far away from that. So it all starts here, because everybody has big plans like, let's open this, let's do this, let's conquer. First, start with yourself. Do you get it? Yeah. That's why Allah says in the Quran, Allah does not change the condition of man until He changes what's within himself. Yeah? So you need to work on yourself. You want to bigger changes, start here. If everybody started in their house, bro, you see massive ripple effects in the whole world. Do you get it? Mm-hmm. That's the problem. That's what I'm saying. Focus on yourself, your family. Once you do that, bro, wallahi, it will change. But we don't do that. We're just too busy with the worldly life. What think the car my son's going to drive, what university they go to. There's no la ilaha illallah.
If it change, you do not need the majority. If it change, you need critical mass.
Exactly.
And it's
yes. Look at the Battle of Badr. Yeah, this is very important, because in the Battle of Badr there was 300 and something plus companions against 1,000 of the idol worshippers. Yeah, who won? The Muslims won. Yes. Why? Because they were firm. And Allah says in the Quran, if they are firm. In the battle of Surah Tawbah, the Battle of Hunayn. In the Battle of Hunayn, there was the biggest Muslim army fighting the mushrikeen, the idol worshippers. And what does Allah say in the Quran? And they were proud of their numbers. And it says, the first say that it's Abu Bakr said that this day nobody can defeat us. And Allah says you literally, it was running. The Prophet ﷺ, why? Because they didn't expect, they got ambushed. Why? Because to rely and think that the bigger number we have, the success we have, this is a false ideology. We believe our success comes from Allah, even if you're one person. Even if you're one person. So that's why we talk about quality and quantity. Look at the Muslims, look what the Prophet peace be upon him said. He said that day you'll be vast in number. How are we vast in number and the nations are coming to eat, kill us? How does that work? It shows you it's not a number game. It is quality. And if we can only get quality is if we work internally on ourselves, on our children, and we can produce quality. Do you know? And that's why Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he made the dua, he said, can you imagine a prophet making dua for his children to be in Tawheed? But you never think of that. You just think, what are you talking about? It's a prophet. Of course the kids are going to be in Tawheed. He made that dua. You know why? because he knows this matter is in the hands of Allah, not on him or his dawah. Because you had Nuh, his son was a disbeliever. So much so, Nuh alayhi salam has done the boat. The flood is coming and saying, "My son, jump," and he's saying, "No, I'm going to jump I'm going to go to the high mountain." So it just Nuh alayhi salam. So this matter to me, bro, is very simple. We look for solutions here and there. Work internally to yourself, and if everybody does that, bro, I think we'll be in a better place.
Ali, what do you tell Muslims that are too focused on the dunya? The first time I heard about you, you were critical of my good friends at Fresh and Fit. And obviously they have podcasts with girls, and the focus of their podcast, a lot of it is on the dunya. What would you tell to the Muslims that are getting clouded by that?
What would you say to Fresh and Fit, bro?
To be honest,
Good question.
What would you say to Myron directly?
He wants to go on the podcast, by the way. I forgot to mention that.
Okay,
To be honest, like when I done those reaction
has to get all the girls there as well. Stuff for life.
During Ramadan, no free mixing. Well, yeah. What would you say to that?
To be honest, the videos that I've done, I don't think I was critical of them. I was just giving the I don't remember.
I'm giving some advice.
I gave advice. Yeah. Do you get it? So to me, look, not just them, anybody for that matter. Yeah. Look, we've been there. You've been there. I've been a disbeliever for 23 years of my life. So it's very simple. Just choose who you're going to be a slave to. We are bound to be a slave to something. So the ones who are following the dunya, that is your master. That is your master. The money, the girls, the parties, all of that, that is your master. Each one is a master. What I'm just saying is that free yourselves from the shackles of multiple masters to one true master who is deserving of your worship, which is Allah. Once you do that, then you'll find your freedom. If you don't, let me tell you something. Allah will humiliate you with the dunya that you're after. If it's a woman, it'll be a woman. If it's the cars of money. But Allah will humiliate you. You will never find happiness. Let me tell you something. I was contemplating to myself, I'm 34 years old. I'm going to be 35. It's come to my birthday, yeah? So the thing is this.
Now we've got to do that Fresh and Fit, bro. It's just a surprise party, brother. Like the girls there.
Yeah, I forgot what I'm saying. No, I'm 35 years. I was thinking to myself, imagine living that lifestyle, partying, holidays, girls. Bro, I would either be suicidal or be in a mental institute, bro. You cannot live your life the same boring pattern, bro. Wallahi, what is your purpose? That's the key word, bro. Wallahi, what is your purpose?
It's boring, okay.
Just think about it, bro. What is your purpose? Everything has a purpose. This lid has a purpose, and your purpose is what? To go sleep around, drive nice. Are you kidding me? What a disservice to the body that God gave you. So to me, it's just like in a nutshell, just choose who you're going to be, who you're going to worship. It's either Allah or it's either going to be multiple other things from the dunya, and you will never be happy, bro.
Do you know what I think it is as well for that? This is my reading of the guys, Fresh and Fit, and not just them, but it's the whole like manosphere thing.
Right. The red pill. Yeah.
Do you know what the issue is? The issue is like most societies in history have had what you call rites of passage for men. Okay, there's something that a man does at one point of his life, which shows the community, shows himself, shows his family that this guy's a man now. Whether it's go to war, enroll in the military, do something like that.
The Jews have bar mitzvah, for example.
Yeah, but like usually it's something to show the resolve of the man, the masculine nature of the man.
Right.
Something physical, something hard to do, something hard to accomplish. Hunting, this and that, something pretty serious.
We don't really have that anymore.
Exactly. So because we haven't had that now, people have come out and they've got different things which they've invented as rites of passage. Now I feel like a lot of the mistake that the manosphere makes, I'm not going to say Fresh and Fit because it's the whole manosphere.
The whole ideology.
Yeah, which is like, okay, now the rites of passage is, how many women can you sleep with? Okay, that's basically it.
50.
The more that you can sleep with, the more of a man you are. Okay, but if that's what is your rites of passage, then you'll never compete with a donkey or a bunny rabbit. The donkey and the bunny rabbit will always overdo you or outdo you in this regard, because it doesn't take skill, it doesn't take resolve, it doesn't take power, it doesn't take strength for someone to copulate, to have intercourse, to bend a woman over and to do this and that, and to put her in different positions. And I don't know, I'm going into details here, but
not doing wrong with that.
No, you know what I mean. It doesn't take any level of proficiency or efficiency or skill or anything like that. Really, this is what you would call a false rites of passage, which is, I think there's been some kind of a gulf there is a chasm because of modern society, lack of hardship that's been created, and they're filling it up with hedonism. What I'm saying is that objectively, it doesn't make you, because what is it to be a man? That's the most question. I have to start with it. what is it to be a man? For me, the defining attribute of a man, frankly, is bravery. That is, for me, the defining attribute of what it means to be a real man is bravery. Because you need that in abundance to do certain things. For example, provide, to protect. Now, you're not going to prove your bravery, which is if you like, the main virtue that you require to be a man. Because frankly, what would you say to someone if they were not brave? You'd say they're a coward. If they're not coward, you'd say you're not a man. Someone gets slapped in the face and then he couldn't fight back. Or someone slaps your wife in the face and you can't fight her, you can't defend her. You're not a man anymore. You know? That's what we would say vernacularly. And in virtue ethics, all the way from Aristotle up until our times, it was always known that bravery was the cardinal and redeeming virtue of a man that differentiated him from women. Not to say that women don't have that virtue. Now, going back to the rites of passage issue. The rites of passage issue now, having sex with women, how does that prove that you're a brave man?
It doesn't.
It doesn't. It doesn't prove that you're a brave man, that you're a resilient man, that you're a skillful man, or anything like that. So for me, this idea of increasing the body count and stuff like that, I find it to be a lousy... Yeah, it's a lazy idea. It's a weak idea.
If it does prove bravery, it's at the lowest possible level.
Not even. I mean, what is it? Showing your, sorry to say, your instrument to another woman. It's like what a bunny rabbit can do, or a donkey, and having intercourse with a woman. It doesn't show anything. It doesn't show anything at all. Frankly, it doesn't show anything.
It's so deep that you're saying this because my dad, he would tap me on the shoulder and he'd say in French, courage.
Yeah.
Courage, courage. He'd say,
yeah.
You're a man.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of things that you're going to face. He knew already. He foresaw this.
Yeah.
Stuff that I'm going through now, i.e. providing for a family, i.e. making decisions for the family, facing reality and being, I do not know where my money's going to come from. I don't know where this is going to come from.
Yeah.
But I have to be courageous.
That is the main thing, bro. And there's two kinds of courage. So there is, you can call it the physical courage and you can call it the moral courage.
Moral courage, yeah.
So the physical courage is getting engaged in physical confrontation. So, for example, I'll reference something you done, and I mentioned this already to you, but the thing with Strickland, I think that was a show of courage, actually.
Yes.
Because the guy was actually, people don't realize this. The guy is one of the most dangerous human beings on the planet.
Correct.
To even step in the ring with him, that requires courage, and to know that he's going to potentially hurt you, bro, badly. And he tried to hurt him. He tried to kill him, bro, and he couldn't. Allah protected him, alhamdulillah. But that is a kind of courage. I think. If you look at the comments of that particular altercation, people were saying, my respect for SNEAKO has gone up so much and this and that. Why? Because men realized, okay, that wasn't easy for him. Mm-hmm. Okay, but he still didn't capitulate. He didn't give up. He didn't, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So that is, okay, that you have to give credit to something like that. But there's another thing which is moral courage. So you have the physical courage and you have the moral courage. Moral courage is to speak what is true. And so, with someone like Myron or someone like Fresh and Fit, what I would say to them, bro, is, with all due respect, like recently there was some kind of thing where a woman, I didn't even watch it, but I was told about it. She was attacking the Prophet and she was
Zionist, yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't say anything. So I would say this is lacking in moral courage. Now, I'm not saying you're a coward. Maybe you just had the wrong idea about it. We're not going to throw you under the bus like that, Myron. But what we're saying is that the next step for the true rites of passage, for you to be a real man, from all perspectives, not just from the perspective of Islam, from virtue ethics times, from Aristotle's times, from the Babylonian times, the Africans, the Asians, the Chinese, everyone would say, speak the truth. Malcolm X, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Fall for anything. It's well known in all societies that this is what it takes to be a man. So forget about the body count. Sorry to say, this is true. This is kid stuff.
It sounds
how
so
many
trivial
women?
now.
Yeah, how many women you can get and bag and put in the bed and bend her over and give her some money. She don't even love you and she don't even care. And she's just doing it for fame or money or whatever. Yeah, it's a prostitute. Most of these people in Fresh and Prince, sorry to say, they're escorts. They are escorts. They are prostitutes.
And I guess the ultimate test right now to judge moral bravery.
If we wanted to, we could go to the escort services and we can call four escorts and they can come and sit here and we can pretend to have the upper hand on them. It wouldn't really mean anything because they're not formidable opponents. They're worthless opponents. They're worthless opponents. So it's actually demeaning to be in a place and okay, you're attacking some woman that's basically a prostitute about her job. You need to help this woman. You need to take her out of instead of bringing some prostitutes and go head to head with some men.
That's a good idea. We should do that's like no, but the women that are lost.
You can do dawah to prostitutes.
Dawah to call them and fix their ways.
That'd be a great stream.
Yeah, it would be fantastic.
Dawah to prostitutes.
But you can get that'd be good. We'll get some women to do dawah.
Might be on the halal fashion field.
Yeah,
We have to welcome the brand.
we have to look at that. But what I'm saying is that we need to now recalibrate what it means to be a man.
Yes.
And it's fine, bro. Society has changed our perspectives on these things. And what it means to be a real man is to be brave. And what it means to be brave is to be physically brave and to be morally brave. These are the two things.
I have to give you credit for the debates you did on Palestine, because I think that's the ultimate test right now of moral bravery. People who are willing to stand up for what's very clearly genocide and not war. And most people choose to stay silent, especially people in my world of streaming and the influencer people. They know what's going on off camera. They will speak about like the atrocities, but because they want the brand deals and they want to be able to work with managers, they will stay silent about something that's, in my opinion, worse than the Holocaust, especially what we learned in school. And then Zishan, I want to ask you, that was a very detailed answer.
Yeah, and I don't want to throw Myron under the bus, because I think he's a nice guy.
No, he speaks about all this stuff.
Yeah, we want to bring him into our fold.
Yeah.
We really want him to be part of our team. We want him.
He has Islam in his heart.
He's a clever guy. You saw something of his. He's written a book or something, hasn't he?
Why Women Deserve Less.
So he's got an intelligent mind, No, honestly.
It's a great title.
You can see. No. Why Women Deserve Less. He's got an intelligent mind. No, but I'm saying we don't want to throw this guy under the bus. But no, you can see. I've seen him speak a few times. He's a very intelligent young man.
Yeah.
We would just want to tweak him a little bit, because I think he's in the wrong environment, and we want him to be part of our, our family. We want him to be closer to us. That's what we want with.
Bring him back on Dean.
That's it. That's what we want, bro.
Zishan, what is your definition of being a real man?
I think the definition of a real man.
Don't talk about me on this.
In this day and age, it's what you're saying, where you've got like a genocide taking place and people can't voice out, people can't speak out. On the other hand, you've got people on road, they're involved in gangs and they think they have access, that specific area belongs to them. They think that's bravery. You've got people that think, I'm making this money, that's bravery. I think nowadays the ultimate kind of test of bravery, and some people, we see these people at Speaker's Corner as well, and we discuss with them and we say, look bro, like you're pretty much a Muslim, like what's stopping you?
Yeah, I met one today.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't know, maybe it's, I don't think I can do it, it's this. For me, that's the sign of bravery. That in an age where believing in God is seen or is made to seem foolish, that in a day and age where alcohol, fahish, like drugs, promiscuity is it's common. It's something that children as young as 6 and 7 are exposed to hardcore pornography, but you instill a conservative lifestyle, conservative in terms of principles of Islam. That's what I mean by conservative. And despite what people are saying, oh you're backwards, oh you're doing this, and you stay like the prophecies that we've discussed, you know what's to come. And telling of a man is able to look 10 years ahead and plans for his family, whilst women, not all of them, they tend not to look that far ahead. Their vision is a bit less, and that's why the union is very important, because it complements each other very well. So for us in this day and age, holding firm to the rope of Allah, I think that, as Islam tells us, that's what's telling of a man, that a time will come that holding on to Islam will be like holding on to a burning cinder in your hand. That's a man. Somebody that can hold on to a cinder and coal, that's a man. Somebody that can say no to a woman, like Yusuf alayhi salam said when she came to him, and somebody says no, and that's what I would even say. That's what I would say as well, when you're on streams and you've got you know the sort of DMs and this and that, and you say no to that. Because that's a man. Somebody when they're in front of a ruler, they know they're going to be cancelled, they know they're going to be shadow banned. Principally, they say, you know what, I'm going to say this because that's the right thing to do. That's a man.
You know why, SNEAKO? This is where Tawheed comes into it. This is our problems, all of our problems in the world tie back to the oneness of God. everything. Mention anything, I'll tie it back to that. The fact that, rizq, what God provides us. I'm not just talking about money. Yeah? The things that God Almighty gives us. To understand and accept, this is such a beautiful concept that when I was not a Muslim, I didn't really understand it. When I became a Muslim, I understood it. For you to say the truth, because you are relying on Allah is the one that provides for you. You need to understand this concept. You do not provide for yourself. Allah is the one that's providing for you. So when you understand that concept and believe that in the uniqueness, the oneness of God Almighty, and that He's providing for you, you would say, me speaking the truth, the factors are not in the hands of my enemies. They are not the ones that decide how much money comes into my pocket or to what blessings God is given to me. It's God. When you do that, this is when you find your true freedom, because you're not in the shackles of, if I done that or did this, or if I didn't speak, this wouldn't happen. We don't believe that. We believe, and this is what Tawheed is, that to have tawakkul, having trust that God will take care of you. This is such a beautiful concept. That's why when you look at, I'm not going to mention names, individuals who are chasing the world and the woman, etc., their purpose is limited. Our purpose is unlimited. Our purpose is greater than this world. You get what I'm trying to say? Yeah? Can I have a takbir?
Bro.
Allah Akbar!
I wish music wasn't haram because you could be a good rapper. That was bars.
Allahu Akbar.
Let me know if you want to collaborate. We can do something together. Yeah? SNEAKO featuring Ali Dawah.
Halal bars.
Yes, on the way to Mecca. Yeah? So the point is this, bro. When your focus is limited, when I was not a Muslim, my focus was limited. Girls, that's all I knew. Girls, partying, clubbing here. But that's limited. So when your vision is unlimited, like I said, Allah is providing. That's why for you made that decision, if I'm not mistaken, before you came to Islam.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. That shows you. That's what Umar ibn Khattab said. Some people, if they, as the disbelievers, if they came to Islam, the quality that you had, look how it's beautified you further when you've come to Islam. Because you've already had that concept of, no, I will speak the truth. And Allah says this in the Quran. Speak the truth even if it's against yourself or your kin. Yeah? So to uphold that, bro, you did that as a disbeliever. Let alone you're a believer now. Imagine if as a disbeliever you had that moral concept, yeah? Imagine what you can do today. So this is what you should stick to, bro. Allah is the one that provides for us. Don't think if I do this and I do that and this one. No. If you put your trust in Allah, bro, Allah will take care of all your affairs. This is what I tell everybody. Wallahi, the effort that you put into Instagram, makeup, this car, this look, this, that, wallahi, if you gave 20% of the effort that you put onto all of those stuff to your Lord, to Allah, wallahi, Allah will take care of all your affairs. That's why I say fix your affairs with Allah, and Allah will fix your affairs with the people and with yourself. That is the focus we need to have, which we don't have. You got girls, makeup, this, that. Why? Because the concept is what? They are thinking, if I beautify myself, I would get a husband or a guy, yeah? And we're saying the following, yeah? We believe, SNEAKO, that a woman who says, I fear Allah and I will cover myself and I will not even show my face, argument's sake, yeah? Allah will find her somebody on the other side of the earth that will come to her doorstep. Why? Because we believe Allah is the one. Not committing sins and I'm going to find it. So I believe, bro, in a nutshell, all of these issues go back to Tawheed. If we truly understood who Allah is, put our reliance on Him, had tawakkul, had trust in Him rather than what I can do. Like the hadith of the Prophet, peace be upon him, of the man who came with a camel. And he didn't tie his camel. He said, why are you not tying your camel? He said, I put my trust in God. He said, tie your camel, then put your trust in God. Today we have a phenomenon of, not only to tie your camel, you've killed your camel. Your camel is dead. And then you're like, okay, I've tried everything. Now let me put my trust in God. It all relates back to that, bro. Everything relates back to not believing in Allah enough and having enough tawakkul.
Okay, but besides speaking the truth, after I became a Muslim, I rejected I was offered $15 to $20 million a year to gamble on stream.
Thank you.
Would that not have been, is there not some sort of righteousness in accepting that deal?
No, that would destroy you.
What if I took that money and I gave it away to people?
No, listen, Allah only accepts that is pure. Yeah, so Allah accepts only that is pure. We cannot. Like people come and say, if I won the lottery, if I did this. Look, if it comes from haram, Allah will never put barakah in that. That money will destroy you and destroy everything around you. But if you come with pure, wallahi, let me tell you something. If you put Allah first, meaning, for example, you said no to that. Why? Because it destroys people's lives. How can I make a living? Do you know I know people who have committed suicide because of gambling? Oh, yeah. How am I going to go to bed, put my head on my pillow, knowing 5 people just killed themselves because the money that they were supposed to provide for their family has gone to some dirtbag who is betting, yeah? Or bet shop owner. Yeah. So to us, that's why when you ask the question, why are Muslims not performing as well? Because to us, we're not about oppressing and how we can opportunistically take from people, and that's what the world is doing. They don't care about anybody. It's all about me, and Allah will destroy you. But if you put Allah first, have halal money, even if it's £20. The moment from your death till you die, Allah will make sure all that money in your bank goes to good causes. So to me, bro, it's just having that trust in God that Allah will take care of you. And this is this concept that we
just to build up on what you sound, because the question you
We have to
asked.
change the battery. Can you hold that for 1 second? We got to change the battery.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, give me 10 seconds.
Sure.
We're good now. We're good now. And
Why it's happening every time, bro? Oh, it's about mobile data. That podcast is so good, so good. Mashallah, mashallah, brother, mashallah. Okay. They came back.
Building up on what you're saying about man, we've heard a lot about speech.
Oh, just pause that thought, because Ali's just made a point. I didn't want to lose the track there. Just hold that thought, please. Yeah. So what Ali was saying is it reverts to the ayah of the Quran. وَهُوَ يَتَوَلَّى الصَّالِحِينَ. Allah is the guardian of the righteous. That if a person is righteous, Allah says, this is Allah guaranteeing, I will be your guardian. And because Allah's created this machine, Allah knows what's good for it, what's bad for it. You and I, we don't get to decide. So if a gambling contract comes and that's not good for us, that's not going to be good. You might think it's that illusion that, oh, I can do this and I can do that. But who gets to decide? Us, in our limited kind of understanding, because we have the pixel, Allah has the picture, and Allah's given us morality by looking at the whole picture.
Nice.
Yeah, and we have only a small pixel, and we're trying to, say, okay, maybe it's like this or maybe it's like that. But our machine is not designed to live with gambling, with alcohol, with drugs, with sexual promiscuity. Why? Because Allah has forbidden it. What sort of religion would it be that on the one hand Allah's forbidden all these things, and on the other hand that, yeah, it's alright, you can do it, but as long as you're doing something good with it? That would be one of the religions that, of course, we're trying to kind of warn people against. Because if Allah's created everything, He knows everything, and everything, He's given us a coherent system, then we can't say, yep, the system works there, but here, you know what, it's not going to work in the economic side, like I know. No, it's, you follow what Allah says, and yes, in the short run, you may not necessarily see it, but it's like putting a diesel in a petrol car. Like gambling to a Muslim doesn't make any sense. Even gambling to non-Muslims, ultimately, look at society now. Because of increased gambling, alcohol, and because of a lack of objective morality, that's why the society is in the decadence that it's in. Because it's going further away from the laws of God.
And this is a beautiful lineup, because the question was, what makes a man, right? And we've talked a lot about the idea of like speaking truth to oppression, or truth to like whatever it is that you're facing. That is an instantaneous thing that you do. Like, you can speak truth in a lifetime maybe once. Maybe one time in your life as a man you have to speak truth against yourself. However, I believe when you say expanding the idea of what it means to be a man, it's something that you do on a consistent basis. Now, you were saying this so beautifully, Allah has designed us. If you think about when Allah creates man the first time and the angels say, Ya Rabbi, are you going to create a creation that is going to cause chaos on earth, right? And then Allah says, prostrate, and then they prostrate, and then He asks the angels, name the things, and they can't name the things, and Adam names the things, He names creation. It's inherent. So being a man, in my language, in Lingala, we call it Mubali. And Mubali is a caretaker, right? And we know in the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, what caretaking is. Khalifatu Ard. Meaning, being a man is inherent to being a human being. Meaning the caretaking. So when you are avoiding gambling, you're caretaking. When you're avoiding promiscuity, you're caretaking. You're cultivating the land, you're cultivating the souls, you're cultivating society. And that's what it means to be a man. A man means to be consistent in caretake and choosing the right thing over the wrong thing. And I think that's ultimately what it means to be a human being. And that's enough. There's one hadith, we know this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Prophet told us that the man is the caretaker of the family, the woman is the caretaker of the house. And and
so every shepherd is responsible for his flock. And the woman is responsible for her flock.
Yeah, and this is why it's so interesting in the Arabic language. Rajul is not always specific to the gender. Sometimes Rajul can also be attributed to a female in the terms of like the way she behaves because of those qualities. And this is something I wanted to always say. There's a problem when we look at gender and when we look at sexuality, we're looking at through the Western lens. Because the way sexuality is understood internationally, it's far more stretched. So for example, this happened to me, this is a real story. My dad is African, right? And I grew up in Germany. One time, I'm chilling, and my friends are coming, they're laughing at me. I was like, what's going on? It's like, yo, we saw your dad. What? So what? He was holding someone else, and he's holding a man's hand. Your dad is gay. Right? And he was laughing at me. I was like, yo.
In Germany, it happened in Germany.
Yeah, in Germany. So I'm like, bro, like, it's not real. So I went to my dad. I was like, years later down the line, I realized in African societies, in Arabic society, it's normal for two men to hold hands. Because sexuality is far more expensive than this restrictive view of sexuality that is connected to capitalism, right? Because the capitalistic idea of sexuality is the workforce. We talked about women in the workforce. We talked about prostitution. All of these things are unhinged and are attached to capitalism. Now, if two men, or for example, Rumi, right? There's this one gay academic in America. He was reading Rumi.
Rumi's a poet.
A Persian poet.
Yeah.
And he was saying, based upon that, based upon the way Rumi was talking about his friends, Rumi was gay. But if you know anything about Persian poetry and the sensibilities of the Persians, love, a Platonic love that you exert towards man, doesn't necessarily say that you're gay. It's just a different way of viewing a man, right? So Rumi would talk about a man's beautiful eyes. Rumi would talk about Shamsi's your beautiful hair and your beautiful eyes. But it's not in a sense how Western people would understand sexuality.
Yeah.
So again, this idea of like what makes a man are traits that you can find in other entities as well, but they are inherent within the man. And sorry for going so deep and so academic with it and so passionate, but yeah.
But I like your idea about the fact that a man is caretaker. I think that's that's a powerful idea. It's also a Quranic idea. Al-Rijal Qawwamun 'ala an-Nisa. Certainly the caretaking is a part of it. You're taking care of your woman, but and your children and stuff like that. But also, I like what Zishan said about self-restraint, because this in virtue ethics terms, this used to be called temperance. There's a word for it. Temperance is when you can control your behavior. You have restraint. Actually, hedonism is opposite to that. So, like, the earliest civilizational understandings of what it means to be a good person, a virtuous person, whether a man or woman, is that you have control over yourself. You're not a glutton. You don't eat too much. You don't do this like what we've been doing today. Me. But or like what do you call it? You're not just saying what you want to say. You're not impulsive. You're not whatever. This is called temperance. Now, hedonism is actually antithetical to temperance, because hedonism, when you're doing what you want and having intercourse with whatever woman you want and all that kind of stuff, it's you're effectively you're not actually controlling yourself at all.
Is that not what Destiny promotes?
Yeah. So it's hedonism. So you can see his body, that guy. You see his body, you see his face, you see his behavior, you see his wife, you see his relationships. Everything is broken down, and it's because of a lack of temperance, a lack of virtue. Effectively, he's a non-virtuous person. These are examples of trash gutter people.
Someone said Destiny doesn't play devil's advocate. Destiny is literally devil's advocate.
Yeah, I was scrolling and I saw a picture of a man with his shirt off, and he had nothing to show for himself physically, and he has nothing to show for himself intellectually, as we saw as well.
He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy to some people, but when I saw what he's saying about the genocide,
that's not very nice.
Yeah, bro. When he said that, I mean, this is the second time I've ever seen him say anything, and it just, to be honest, I threw him in the bin. The guy has no.
You should debate him.
Yeah, well, okay, come debate, no problem. I'm always ready. I'm ready to fight and debate anybody.
Send me location.
I don't care. I mean,
I will smash.
He's a homosexual.
I will smash.
No.
Huh?
Destiny's homosexual. Did you know that?
Yeah, I don't have any discrimination of Humiliation. There's no humiliation. He wants to be humiliated. There's no problem at all. What's he going to talk to me about? What's his area of specialism? Anyways, no problem. But the point I'm making to you is that these are archetypes of failure in the modern world, bro. Honestly, because no, let's be honest. Like the Western.
Come on, he likes dyeing his hair blue.
No, forget about that. I'm saying that what do you have to show for yourself as a man? What do I have to respect?
He has a successful stream.
What do I have to respect about someone like this guy? Do you know what I mean? What is it to be a streamer?
He talks fast.
Untalented individuals.
Yeah.
You know, we're living in an age where untalented people can have notoriety. That's the truth.
Isn't that the sign of the end times? That the knowledgeable will be quiet and the ignorant will be speaking the
loudest.
loudest.
There's Hadith about destiny too?
Yeah, it's quite once.
He's part of the end times?
Wow.
Yeah,
Is he the jaw?
No, but it's not. Effectively untalented. Untalented. Like there's nothing there. Like at least with Kim Kardashian or these figures, they're untalented.
There's something there. Well,
they're untalented, but they may have beauty or something to show them. But we're talking about an individual bereft of talent and aesthetic beauty. So what do you have to offer? What are you putting on the table for me? I mean, why do I have to respect you? Because the thing is, a man is never going to respect a man that can't challenge him or impose consequence on him, physically or intellectually. That's the truth. I'm never going to give him too much respect. I might feel sorry for him, sympathy. That's the only emotion. Disgust. That's another emotion I might feel. No, honestly, this is the kind of... I look at them and I feel disgust. I feel bedazzlement, a sense of...
There you go, he's got something to offer you then, isn't it? There you go.
Negative attribute. But what I'm saying is that these are archetypes of failure, frankly. I'm being honest with you, bro. The Western tradition is not like... The Western virtue tradition, it had things like magnanimity, had things like temperance, things like forbearance, things like compassion, things like courage. We mentioned all of that is in African tradition, it's in Confucianist tradition, it's in Buddhist tradition, it's in Islamic tradition, it's cross-cultural. Now, if you've got an archetype or an individual, a creature, a human, who he has not shown that he's forgiving, he's not temperate, he's not courageous, he's untalented, then why are we even talking about, we're living in an age where we're talking about people like this. This is a real problem. But certainly this is not a man. A person like Destiny is not a man. He's not actually a man. I would say he's a biological man, maybe XY chromosome. But from a perspective of he's not actually a man. I mean,
who is Destiny?
Because let's be honest. Can I be honest with you? SNEAKO, you know this guy, yeah? You know him.
Yeah.
Like he's a male, but he's not a man.
SNEAKO, yeah, exactly.
The guy who let his wife sleep with that black guy.
Yeah. So
is that him?
No, that's not him.
22.
No, that's Adam.
Open relationship as well, this guy, right?
They got divorced.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So maybe open relationship.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. If someone slapped Destiny in the face, do you think he'd respond?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think. I don't want to hear about him then. Because if you're a person in a context where if someone slap his face, what are you gonna do now, huh? Oh, blue hair, do that. Do that with your blue hair. Put your head down. Okay, if you're that kind of guy who would not even respond, maybe run. Maybe you would run. Now, I'm not saying, no. But if that's you, then, sorry to say, well, why are we talking as if we're equals? We're not equals. We are not equal. We are not equal. Simple thing.
Do people like that strengthen your faith in Islam?
Oh, for sure. When you see their weakness, when you see
real question.
Look, when you see the weakness of such people, when you see the lack of objective morality, you can see a clear genocide taking place. But you're like, no, it's like this. Technically speaking, it's this. But what strength is that? When Islam clearly tells us that, look, speak the truth even if it means going against yourself. Even if it means going against yourself. And like we were discussing, even when it comes to interest, it's not just interest with, just don't give interest to your own, it's interest everybody. Yeah. To us, even if a non-Muslim, somebody who doesn't believe in Islam, if you've wronged him and he prays to God against you, that prayer will be accepted as well. So Islam is objective, it's for everybody. So when you see the breakdown, when you see people with a lack of morals behaving like that, with no stability in life, getting pulled this way, that way, get paid, like they say, everybody has a price. But the believer doesn't have a price. Because the only price that can be paid is by God. That's the only price that can be paid. That's why we'll do stuff, even if there's no one around, we'll do it. Why? For the sake of God. not for the sake of someone's praise. And that's what makes us different. To say somebody else that relies on.
And you know what? To add to this, bro. To add to this, the question is this: are you willing to die for what you believe in? Because this, wallahi, yeah. I'm sorry to say, let's be honest. Bring these guys down. Let's get to the bottom of it. Now, if we're gonna play chicken, if this is gonna be a war to the death, are you willing to die for this thing? Let's be honest about it. 100% these people are not willing to die because they don't even believe in something strong enough like that. They don't. The liberal doesn't. The Christian probably even doesn't. And he had a better chance because it was religious. The liberal is not even a religious presupposition. So what I'm saying is that we are willing to die. We will say yes, we are willing. And that's something that really agitates the colonizer. This is the thing that agitates the colonizer the most.
Because they would not die for their faith.
Bro, it's martyrdom. The idea of shuhada, shaheed in Islam, bro. It's the idea of shaheed is we celebrate the ones who have been killed,
who've been martyred.
Who've been martyred, bro. We celebrate them.
Alien.
By the way, sorry, Jews don't have this in their theology. They don't have a martyrdom theology like that. They have a very weak martyrdom theology.
Can I bring up something ironic? Destiny has said publicly that he hates Islam, but he loves Judaism.
Interesting. Look, I mean, he can hate and love whatever. He can hate or love. He can love a man having intercourse with a wife in front of him, a black man or whatever it was, Adam 22, whoever, I don't know who it was. He can love whoever he likes to love or hate whoever. I don't care about him. Because like I said to you before, this man is not even willing to...
You said that.
He's not willing to fight for what he believes in, let alone die for what he believes in. That's the level we're talking about. We're talking about a low-level person. You know? We're talking about a person who's not willing to fight, let alone die for what he believes in.
Do you think Zionists look at the martyrs and they get jealous? Of
Yes.
The fact?
Oh, yes. Oh,
Make sense.
yes.
It's alien to them.
Yes, no, bro, it's so... They always... Bro, look, I came on the news. I came on the front pages of newspapers in this country. Front pages.
Well,
Daily Mirror. No, before this. That as well. But no, I've been on the front pages a few times. But the the Daily Mail, I've been on the front pages. the Daily Mail, yeah, and I can't remember another one. Jewish Chronicle, fine enough. And it was me with my shirt off. I don't know why they got that picture of all the pictures.
That's a publication? Jewish Chronicles?
It's called the Jewish Chronicle. It's like the #1 Jewish
I wanted to find a picture of your weakest point moment in life.
I had been like 125 kilos, like 28 pounds overweight and stuff like that.
We're sorry, mate. We're sorry.
But anyway, they put there for the Jewish woman to see. The point is that
you just reminded me of that other guy that his daughter, they used your name for
Shmoli, unholy. The unholy Shmoli. Yeah, and his daughter's probably still using that newspaper right now, they're cutting. For her own pleasure. But that's something. And maybe Shmoli himself, the unholy one. We don't know about this guy's unholy. But what I'm saying is that the point I'm making to you is, Akhi, they were saying, they called me the love to die activist. That was the reason why they put me in the front pages, is because I said we love to die. Because in reality, bro, like I said, Akhi, like a Sahabi in Uhud got stabbed. Okay, this is a war in Islamic history. As the dagger was inside of him, he said, Fustu Rabb al-Kaaba. I have been successful. I'm successful. He's getting killed and he's happy. Bro, there's nothing, no money, no material. It's only a worldview that can make you think like that. A worldview that I've got better things coming. Akhi, Hamdallah, who is one of the great Sahabis, right? He just became Muslim, like yourself. Imagine this, just became Muslim. Got married. He had his wife. And he was about to go to war. But she was calling him to the bed. She was calling him to the bed, so he went and had sex with her. Sorry to say. He said, you know what, I'm a young guy. He had sex with her, then he went to war. He had sex with her, then he went to war. He was killed in the war, and we believe he became a martyr and the angels washed him up.
Can I expand this idea? Can I expand this idea?
Because after sexual relations, this was like a ritual bath. Because he didn't have time. So after sexual relations, you have a ritual bath. Yeah, when you have sexual relations with your wife.
And you have sexual intercourse with your wife, you need to have ghusl.
You need to make wudu.
No.
It's a major
purity.
You have to wash all your body.
It's like a shower.
So wudu is minor purity.
Okay.
Ghusl is a full
wudu.
Yeah. You can say full wudu, but it's called ghusl.
It's like a big wudu.
I want to keep this conversation also very intelligent, because we don't want to play into the tropes, because this idea is that martyrdom with the Muslims is like this barbaric, unthinking people who just blow up themselves. Martyrdom, actually, if you think about it from the Quranic perspective, is something very difficult. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala criticizes the people who do not go onto the battlefield.
Exactly.
Because it's difficult to do so. It's not something...
It's a major sin if you turn your back.
Yeah, it's difficult to do. It's difficult to leave the world behind. This idea that every Muslim can just go and blow up themselves. These are the crazy people that have actually
we're not sort of blowing up ourselves, just to be clear.
We're talking about people that have issues and decide to go against their own fear and love for life. And I think that's something that we also have to really talk about, because sometimes we play into those tropes of
100%. But on the other hand, I was very surprised because I saw a recent thing. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Sam Harris is an atheist. Yeah, he was having this discussion with a couple of other guys. One of them was like another atheist. And he was thinking about the military apparatus in the Quran and Sunnah. And the guy said something to the effect of he says something to behold. He was praising Islam, and they're atheists, and you can see Sam Harris is not. He's always been a critic of Islam. He didn't like what this guy was saying, but he didn't want to refute it because he kind of silently acknowledged the truth in it. Militarily, bro, and strategically, if you have a group of people that actually, in a sense, prefer to die. Bro, imagine the bravery that's going to come from their mind. Imagine how far they're going to take it. How else can you explain the fact that Islam spread in the way it did? No other religion spread in the way that Islam spread. None. Christianity, it was Constantine, okay, who became a Christian, and then he spread it by force. Islam wasn't like that, bro. They had to go and invade other nations. And for them, imagine like you got a small group of people, small group of people comparatively, 5,000 people, going to the Roman Empire fighting them. When they're 10-to-1 ratio, they're losing. 10-to-1 ratio, maybe even 20-to-1. But no one does that. But that's the bravery that's required to overtake and to conquer, bro. That bravery cannot come from just, okay, let's tune our sympathetic nervous systems and tame our amygdalas. It's not like that. This is a bravery that has to come from something higher than that, bro. Exactly. Which is, where it's coming from is the higher ethic, which is, bro, we're willing to die for this because we believe if you die as a martyr, you'll be provided for, that you'll be alive, you'll be this, you'll be that. Ahi, you have to admit, militarily, people that believe in this theology, bro, are, and if they're ready to fight, they're going to be the most dangerous people. Even Robert Greene said this himself. You know Robert Greene, 48 Laws. He said that the one who's willing to commit suicide has the initiative. This is one of the rules of power. I'm not saying we want to commit suicide. I'm saying that you're willing to fight to the extent where you could die. The one who's willing to commit suicide has the initiative, which means
Hitler.
Yeah, in a way he had the initiative, but even him, bro, when his ideology died, he killed himself. Do you get it? But in Islam, it's not like that. Do you know, when he died, the whole movement died because it wasn't something that is like transcendental. But with Islam, it's different because it's not a nationalistic concept. It's to do with the hereafter and stuff. It's not like Nazism.
Their purpose is greater than this life. That's the issue. Do you get it? That's why the people that purpose is this life, you see what they do, sleep around, this, that. Their purpose is greater than this, man. And that's why this doesn't add to the non-Muslim. They do not understand the concepts alien to them. To us, even like the concept which I fell in love with Islam was the concept of loving for the sake of Allah. I didn't understand what that meant. I was like, what does that mean? Why do I have to love SNEAKO for the sake of Allah? Can I not just love him because he's a good person or because I'm just a good person? Then I realized as human beings, we always have terms and conditions. There's always there's something there. Like, what am I gaining from him? Something there. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But when you think about the concept of doing it for the sake of Allah, it is so beautiful. And wallahi, it will solve so many problems of the non-Muslims if they had this concept. Because everyone in today's society is doing what? What can I gain out of the other?
Transactional relationships.
Everything is
People always tell me to cut off. I have a friend named Neon. He's a younger Muslim streamer. And I always make sure that I'm there and I respond to him. I'm checking up with him because he's my Muslim brother. Regardless of like how he like changes the reputation and what he does, like that's my Muslim brother. And I love him for the sake of Allah.
Exactly. The sake of Allah means what, bro? It's transactional. Meaning the following. If you come to me one day and say, Ali, I'm in a really bad position. Can you lend me £5,000? I'll be like, okay, I have it. There you go. The next day you come and argue and say, you start swearing at me. You start swearing at me. Why start swearing at me? I would never ever say, you know what, bro? I wish I never gave him that £5,000. I wish I never helped SNEAKO. Because my reason of doing that was what? I done it for the pleasure of God. I don't give a damn if you're going to slap me in my face or are you going to humiliate me or whatever for that matter, I said, I've done that for the sake of Allah. No problem. And there's an ayah in the Quran. Why? When Abu Bakr, his daughter was slandered, and Aisha, the Prophet's wife, yeah? Abu Bakr is her father. She was slandered against that. She committed adultery. This was a big slander. Surah Nur was sent down, yeah? And Abu Bakr used to give some money to a specific individual. And that individual was one of the ones who started the rumor. And Abu Bakr stopped giving the money. And Allah sent down revelation saying, do not do this. Basically, carry on giving. Why? Because it was for the sake of God. Not, I'm going to stop it now because he did this to me. But today we do is what everything is transaction. Do you know how fake that is, bro? I've lived that life. It makes me sick when I'm around people who are like, okay, why is this person, I'm doing this? Brother, we do it for the sake of Allah. And when you understand this concept, it's so beautiful because it's like, I'm not calling that brother so I can get some likes off him. Or that person, brother, it's just for the sake of Allah. I'm here for the sake of Allah, inshallah. And this is something you need to work on. It's not something that you are given. It's something that you get. And if you look at today's society, everyone is selfish.
Absolutely.
Nobody cares about anybody, bro. People are, the guys died on the floor that recorded.
Social media is
bro, do you know what he's talking about is very true, and actually psychological studies have been done on this. It's actually a phenomenon called the diffusion of responsibility. In the West, it's on steroids, this thing. What is diffusion of responsibility? Is that you diffuse the responsibility to someone else. So for example, there's a lot of sexual assaults that happen in the West. What we call stranger rape, or stranger sexual assault, or stuff like that, yeah? What we find is that people don't want to get involved because they believe in individualism. The religion of the West is liberalism now. And as part of liberalism is this idea of individualism. Individualism is this idea that you yourself, really, you know what's best for yourself, do what's best for yourself, you are in charge of yourself. It's all about yourself, effectively. You are the master. The individual is king. That's what individualism is, yeah? So because that's the idea, the person makes a rational choice theory, or calculus. He starts calculating the situation. He says, why should I get involved? This woman here is getting hurt, or this man here is getting beaten in the street. If I get involved, I might lose my life, I might lose my health. What do I have to gain from that?
What's the utility?
What's the utility in that? So this phenomena of diffusion of responsibility, makes everyone selfish, effectively. If you, like for example, if we go to Africa right now, yeah, in any part of sub-Saharan Africa, any part of Africa that as a continent, any part, any country you like, if someone gets into a fight in a village or in a city, for the most part, everyone's going to get involved and try and stop it. Someone gets into a fight in London, bro, I'm sorry to say, do you think someone's getting involved? No one's getting involved, because it's like, why should I? It's not my business. I'm going to hurt myself, because it's not a communal, they don't have a communal wiring. They have an individualistic wiring. And that's what's destroying their societies, this idea of a diffusion of responsibility. So what I'm saying is, Akhi, and it's so ironic, because being individualistic, ironically, is against the individual. Right. Yes. Being selfish is ironically not in the self-interest of the person.
It's more self-sufficient to pay attention to the community.
Yeah, because for example, and this is in most self-help books and stuff, yeah, even nowadays, which is that think win-win, think reciprocity. If I help this guy, if I help him, if I'm generous and stuff like that, you know, the Hindus and the Eastern tradition say it's karma, what goes around comes around. There's a degree of truth in that notion. In fact, as there's an Arab proverb which is in line with Islam, that you are rewarded with what you give, effectively, yeah? So the point is, if you give off to different people goodness, generosity, hospitality, respect, bravery, sacrifice, you'll get that back. But if you're a selfish person, doesn't want to get involved, doesn't want to do this, think about yourself, this and that, then don't complain. Aki, bro, in this country, you got, my mum had a neighbor, you know, and the house was smelling bad. The house was smelling bad. So the police came and opened it up. So the woman was dead inside, bro.
Wow.
They said, why is the woman dead inside? Oh, because the kids didn't come and see her. Why? Because there isn't an emphasis on being good to your parents, bro. Imagine, it's so horrible. Imagine that would be care homes, bro. It'd be shocking. It's shocking almost anywhere else in the world. But in this country, bro, like imagine someone didn't care about their mum so much, or their dad, whatever, so much that they died in the house.
But you've mentioned this though. But what he's mentioned is, and he's mentioned it very well, and it's stuck in my head. It was that human rights, this is the bedrock of this society, and human rights is all to do with what you're owed.
Yes.
These are my rights. This is what I need to have. But which of the human rights articles deals with the responsibilities?
Yeah, human responsibilities.
Yeah, but what you owe to somebody else. They're all to do with what you owe, what you're owed. And that's what he's saying. It then leads to individualism, materialism. I mean, even look at the inheritance system. Yeah, Islamic inheritance system is the only one that sets aside an amount for your parents. It even considers your parents. And here, when we're talking about what Ali is saying, your parents reach a certain age, they're of no utility to you. There was a sketch show where he said, you know, I went home, I saw my mum. It's a sketch. He was joking. You know, she wasn't cooking, she wasn't cleaning, she wasn't well. So that's when I decided there's no use for her. So I just, you know, but obviously there was a laugh and this and that because people didn't expect it to go that way. But that is literally what happens. You're literally sent to a care home to live the rest of your life. Why? Because the kids are supposed to, you know, be the best that you can be, enjoy life, you know, pleasure over pain, which is what liberalism is. Again, another bedrock of liberalism, that if pleasure outweighs pain, it's good. If pain outweighs pleasure, then it's bad. And this is what the Quran says as well. Have you seen the people that have taken the desires as their lords? So all of these things are the bedrock of the Western civilization, and that's why you see.
Bro, and that's it. Do you know? Sorry to cut you off, but on this point, do you know what's ironic about that as well? Is the more you chase pleasure, ironically, the more you get pain.
Yep.
Right. This is one of the things I was reading in that book, the religion and stuff. Yeah. You know, but it's the case. In fact, that is very Buddhist as well. But in fact, Socrates in the Hellenistic period, or the classical period, I should say, Socrates, obviously a pre-Socratic period, but he was Socrates himself. But Socrates said that basically, pain and pleasure are two sides of the same coin. That if you focus too much on pleasure, you end up getting pain. So if you, that's what he mentioned. So it's very interesting that pleasure is like a shadow. The more you move towards it, the more it moves away from you. The ones who try and seek pleasure are most likely the ones who get least pleasure. Because the thing is, if you're going for the short-term solution, you want to ejaculate, you want to eat the food, you want to this, that, whatever, no problem. We're not saying you shouldn't ejaculate or eat the food or whatever. But if that is your epitome of pleasure, bro, I'm sorry, it's fleeting. I just ate this food now. Okay, I ate this food. I was hungry before. And now I'm not hungry anymore, but that's it. I'm not going to remember 3 days from now what kind of food I just ate now. Frankly, it's a fleeting memory. I don't even remember what I ate 3 days ago, because it's not really that. It's not the level of pleasure is not to the point where it's changed my life like that. So how many times have I ejaculated in my life? At least. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to answer it. Like, I don't. The point is that the best the West can offer me, bro? What can you offer me? Like, let's be real for a second, yeah? What can the West offer me? So I say I'm ready now. Let's say I don't want to live a religious life, a restricted life, a disciplined life. I don't want to live that now. I want to be a Westerner for a couple of weeks. Let's say, for the sake of argument, bring me in, Destiny. Bring me in, or Myron. Bring me in to one of your hoes, a prostitute, and your escorts. Show me what you can do for me. So what are you gonna do? You get me a couple hoes. I'm gonna do what I want to do with them. All right, fine. Sorry to say, I'm being very crude. I'm gonna eat some food. I'm gonna drink some alcohol. Wake up with a hangover, headache, vomit in the toilet. Disgusting. Bro, I'm sorry to say, Yanni. I'm gonna inject some heroin in my body. You know what I'm saying? And then have a withdrawal impact afterwards, because the body keeps score. And that's the name of a book, by the way. It's called The Body Keeps Score by Van der Kolk. He wrote a book called The Body Keeps Score. There's no such thing as a substance that you put into your body for pleasure that's not going to come back and take pain from you. The body will keep track. If you get a high from ecstasy or from speed or from what do you call it, heroin, that means you're going to get a crash. You're going to go below the baseline. You're going to get sick from that.
There's repercussions to all the pleasures.
So I'm saying, so no problem. I'm going to take a couple of drinks. I'm going to take a couple of heroin. I'm going to have sex with a couple of hoes. I'm going to, go out. I was going to cut this bit about myself. Go out, do this, go clubbing, so loud, some music is so loud I can't even hear anything, I can't even see anything, and the lights are flashing. Oh, okay, what now? I've ejaculated. I've eaten food. What can you offer me? Show me what, I want more now. I'm hungry for something more. Bro,
you want is more.
How comes, if you knew what makes me happy, you guys are the most depressed?
Yeah, exactly.
How comes, according to Forbes magazine and the World Health Organization, the most depressed countries in the world are the Western countries?
Exactly.
I want to know that. Bro, if you guys know so well how to make me happy, how comes your people are on the antidepressants and the Prozac? Exactly. how comes that we have discovered now, from the most longitudinal studies known to man, for example, the Harvard study, very longitudinal study, for 30 years, that the best thing that promotes satisfaction in life is human relationships, the meaningful things, and all. There's a study, bro, Mannheim University, 2019, Germany, yeah? Bro, listen to this study, and you can download this if you don't believe me. The effects of oneness belief of life satisfaction. Listen to this one. The fear. But you know what it said? The most satisfied people, and these are non-Muslim writing this study, bro. The most satisfied people in the world, according to this study, 2019, not written by MOHAMMED HIJAB, written by Laura Tobin and some other two things. The most satisfied people in the world are Muslims. They actually wrote the word Muslims.
Wow. And they don't become Muslim after realizing
Bro,
that.
I'm saying that this is the effects of oneness beliefs of life satisfaction. Right. That's the name of the study, bro. So what we're talking about here, the studies are almost unanimous in showing that your life of hedonism leads to displeasure and hedonia, the opposite of pleasure, and our life of meaningfulness, purposefulness, and so on and so forth, that's leading to real satisfaction. So why am I going to live your life? You ain't got. Where you got to offer me?
Yeah, exactly.
Woman have sex. I can have sex with woman. I can have sex with woman. I can eat food.
Yeah,
what you got for me?
The Western world is thirsty for Islam.
What you got for me, bro?
They are dying for Islam. They are dying for Islam.
True,
and yeah, I would say, like, ending on that note, man. Like, you know, the Prophet peace be upon him said, not looking after your parents. He said, may his face be rubbed in dust. Yeah. May his face be rubbed in dust. May his face be rubbed in dust for the one whose parents reach old age and he doesn't look after them. This is the biggest boys. Imagine the one that looked after you and you put him in care home because you're going to go holiday to Honolulu, wherever. This is, and you want to come and tell us, Islam, you are dying for Islam. And that's why one scholar said, if the non-Muslims knew what we have with Islam, they will pick up arms to come and fight you for it.
Yeah.
If they knew the contentment we have, when we talked about rizq, having trust in God and this, that, brother, they'll pick up arms, they'll get arms to come and fight you for it.
High level, bro.
They don't know what we have, alhamdulillah, you know? Because alhamdulillah is content, and knowing coming from that lifestyle, bro, they don't know what we have.
It's frustrating seeing that so many of these intellects are so close to realizing there's studies proving that Muslims have the most contentment. I don't know if you ever read the Unabomber Manifesto, but he talks about all the problems that you just addressed back before technology really took over. I think he wrote it in the 70s and 80s, and he was talking about how the rise of technology was going to cause over socialization. We're going to be communicating with too many people and not have a community aspect. Liberalism is going to. It's a great read. And he ended up mailing bombs to Harvard professors and university professors because he was really disenfranchised, and they put MK Ultra on his brain. He was a really smart person, and he ended up going away to the woods. And he wrote this manifesto saying how liberalism, over-socialization, and technology was just going to ruin the West, and he was pretty much right. Wow. He predicted the rise of social media. He predicted the rise of liberalism. But he never became Muslim. He was describing all the problems with the West, but he never got to the full solution, even though his IQ was something like 170. He was one of the smartest people. He was teaching Harvard classes, he was teaching university classes when he was like 23 years old. What do you think is the deciding factor that takes those people who realize that Muslims have that contentment? What can really help them push to that final step to take the Shahada and become a Muslim? What do you think?
I think, and again, if I may just add to, and this is a beautiful question you're asking, the West has trauma. And the trauma...
Are you a revert as well? Just
yes, I am a revert,
Yeah. You're a Christian.
Yeah. The West has trauma, and the trauma stems from an origin that has nothing to do with Islam. The reason why the West becomes liberal, if in your historical student, the reason why the West becomes liberal is because it's proceeding with centuries of tyranny that has a conception of religion that has nothing to do with Islam. So if you go to a Western person, you tell them religion, they have trauma and they're misanthropes, they hate God. Because of what the Catholic Church has done.
And especially with science as well.
Because, exactly, so what we're dealing with people, we're telling them, look, come back to religion, but they're looking at us and thinking we are Martin Luther or we're, Thomas Aquinas, or they're attributing our religiousness with their own trauma.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think what we have to do in the Dawah, and this is why I'm always very understanding sometimes why a feminist, not the feminists today, but the feminists, perhaps the first wave of feminism, why they exist, is because it goes against the very fabric of what it means to be a woman.
Right.
The Muslims never treated women in a way where a woman had to feel like protesting.
Yeah.
You see?
The feminist is more misogynistic than all the people that they hate.
It's a uniquely the same thing with sexuality. It's uniquely a Western problem. But what I think we as Muslims have to tell them is like, look, I understand what you went through.
Yeah.
But we're not inviting you to do this.
Yeah.
We're inviting you to the balanced way, in which is Islam. And people need to understand that first, and then I believe they could find the way to Islam.
Zishan, when you give dawah, what's that final straw that gets people to take the shahada for those people that are so close but can't?
Creme de la creme.
Yeah.
The creme de la creme is it's that human contact, because sometimes what will happen is when you're so fixated on arguments and you're so fixated on the nuts and the bolts of the things, you miss what actually makes us human, and that's connection, that's understanding the other person. And sometimes that's what it is, that the problem is not very complex. The problem will be something like something happened in his life, or a perception that he has about something. So if you connect with somebody as a human being, not thinking, you know what, he needs this argument or he needs this and I can provide this and that. Sometimes all it is actually taking a step back, listening to him.
Yes.
And sometimes the question would be, when you're speaking to somebody, not giving them dawah, first is asking where he needs dawah. So finding out where those gaps are, like, so what will it take for you to accept Islam? Like, what are the tick boxes? Oh no, I would need to see God, and I would need scripture to be proven, like why the Quran is it. So what he's now telling you in essence is, he's giving you a checklist. If you just follow that checklist, then that will be better than you speaking at him for 45 minutes. This might even be a 20-minute conversation where you're just talking about the points that he wants answered. And sometimes just listening, being there as a human being, as opposed to, I'm going to tell you now, I'm your teacher now, I'm this. So what's the issue that you have, bro? Tell me, let me hear it. Oh, I think this is the issue, that's the issue. Like Sherlock Holmes says, data, give me information. Even when he's at home, he's got all of this data coming in. He said, give me as much data, and then from that data he's able to extrapolate, he's able to kind of draw a pattern and say, okay, this is where it's going. We should be doing the same thing as well. Sometimes it's not, let me do this, and that's the thing at Speaker's Corner. Sometimes what we're doing is we're developing relationships. You'll see somebody one week, you speak to him, if he needs to go, he needs to go. It's not like, no, I must now get you to convert. No, then I'll see you next week, bro. And there was one guy I was speaking to, bro, I just remembered, he told me the date that his wife died. And that was very close to him. I remembered that date, and I just, in a passing comment, I quoted it. That one, he said, you've won my heart with that. Wow. The fact that you've remembered my wife, every week when he saw me thereafter, it was like, he ignored everybody, he said, oh, bro. It's that human contact, it's that human concern, and that transcends everything. Well. And no, it's not even that. It's caring about the person. Like, bro, there's a person in our local area, bro. His English is not that great, but when he goes to somebody, he leans in and he's like, bro, I truly have concern for you. And look, just like a drop of alcohol or a sip of alcohol can have an effect on a person, Iman has, like faith, has an effect on the believer. Iman should be emanating from that believer. Like somebody we met today as well, he said, look, I get some good energy from you and from that person and this and that. Like some people can sense this stuff. Like Iman should be permeating from you, and the only way that's going to happen is if you put your head this on the floor in front of him. Wow. And when you do that, that's when he says, you know what, now let me elevate him. His head is down there, let me elevate that head in front of the people now, because he's humbled himself to me. Wow. Then to everybody else, then you are someone. But here, in front of Allah, you're crying. What man cries? Brother, don't cry, and this and that. Companions would cry, and it would be normal. But cry in front of who? Cry in front of Allah. And that's what makes you a man. Allah. When you're able to say, you know what? He is the one. He is the one. He deserves. He deserves my ibadah.
Are you guys here tomorrow?
Yeah, we have to get going anyway. This is a perfect thing to...
Are you guys here tomorrow?
Yeah, inshallah.
Because tomorrow I'm free. If you guys just want to catch up.
I would love to.
Yeah, let me know where you guys are going to be.
Let me get your number. We can...
Okay, yeah.
We do have to get going. The restaurant wants to close up. I would love to keep going for a long time. Thank you so much, everybody here. SMILE2JANNAH, Zishan, Mohammed Hijab again, of course, Ali Dawah. I appreciate you. All the brothers here. I didn't get your names. Dawood. Of course, I forgot who you are. I couldn't... Abdul. Thank you again for driving over here, man. And to this restaurant, thank you everybody here. I appreciate it. The Warner, of course. Come on, man.
He didn't say.
Come on, man.
That name.
By the
Abdullah,
way,
I
we
can't
have
say it.
a charity if you want to perform zakat, or even if you're not Muslim, we have projectiftar.org/SNEAKO. You can give $2 and you'll give one meal. Yesterday we raised $6,000, mashallah, $6,000. So you guys, we fed 3,000 people alone in yesterday's stream. Let's see if we can double it today. So the link will be there. I'm sure that they could put it in the description.
So does this stream, does it end like when the live, or do you put it up as videos? How do you do it?
I can send it to you if you would like to upload it.
What's it called?
Rumble.
It's like a YouTube.
You've never seen Rumble?
Look at it, that's so like constellation, like.
Well, shout out to Rumble. We have free speech over here. I've been banned on YouTube for 2 years.
It's very
refreshing. So if anyone puts your videos, they get in trouble as well?
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Because we want to indirectly promote you, you know.
No, you're okay. If you can be able to post, but we don't want to speak too much about that because they might see. But that's besides the point. Thank you so much for coming on. Ramadan Mubarak to all the Muslims here. I hope you stay steadfast on the rest of Ramadan.
And inshallah, when you get married, you call us to your wedding.
Of course, man.
If you want, you can do the nikah. But I don't know if you'll be married. Over Zoom.
Do we have best men in Islam? Is that a thing?
No, you have best brother.
You have
best brother.
brother?
All of us, yes.
Okay. I gotta relearn all these pagan rituals that I was taught.
Yeah. Don't worry, it took me time, man. I can remember when I first came to Islam, I was doing this. I was like, yeah. And he was like, what are you doing, brother? I said, so I don't know what, like, my culture, me and my car had the blue eye. And he's like, bro, you okay? I was like, I don't know. You slowly, it's normal, slowly.
You gotta help me relearn all this pagan rituals.
Rewiring, don't worry, trust me.
Thank you again for coming on, everybody. I really enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys soon. I should be back tomorrow. Bye, guys.
I said it was like 60%, 50,
30,
30%.
Life has end. Well, let's have some what? I don't think this is Ramadan. I didn't sleep well for this live stream because I am, bro. I'm freaking crazy right now. Cause this Ramadan I have to do best work, and like this is the best work in my life. Cause I'm sharing Islam with you, and you are learning from it, and you will benefit from that. And I'm also, you know, this podcast helped me a lot, and it is a live stream, bro. So this live stream helped. It will help me a lot in the future. Yeah, Allah help me to obey those rules that I need for make myself as a better Muslim and make my iman so stronger than ever. I know many people don't watching me. Are you watching me, brother? Are you watching me? I don't know. Yeah, it's kinda not a good thing because you are seeing me as a brother, but I'm not a famous person. I'm not an influencer, but I wanna be a man who's sharing the Islam and truth of the world. And that's the thing, bro. Brother, I have to go now because I didn't sleep, and I have to go another country. That's why I need to go to that embassy to get a visa. So I'll do live stream on the channel when I'll go that country, and that country is so weird, you know. India, bro. I don't know how I'll go there. I have no interest to go there because my brothers will be taking me in that country because he's also applied on for visa, Indian visa. So I think we will get that, and we'll go that country and learn from many things about Hindus. Hindus are weird, bro. Hindus are weird. Oh my gosh. Because I have seen a lot of videos on X. Okay. and I uploaded one video on the channel about them. Oh brother, I wanna be Muslim. Don't like Hindus, bro. Hindus are weird. They are drinking. They are drink cow's urine. Okay, that's weird though. And they also eating. They also eat cow's poop. Oh my gosh, what I've said. Okay, you have to go now. Goodbye. Take care of yourself and make yourself as a better person. Make yourself as a better Muslim. Goodbye. Assalamu alaikum. Ma salama. See you next stream, because Ali Dawah will be with him in the next stream. Okay, let's see. Welcome to my live stream, and it will benefit for all of us. Goodbye. Salam.